场，莫兹利安为 LPL 奶硬口。全新 OPPO Find X8 系列夜景人像神器，夜拍超清晰，人像 MVP。TCL 全屋智慧家电，峡谷英雄敢为不凡。2025 LPL 官方指定家电产品，更受电竞用户喜欢的能量饮料，有能量当然占马。傲风电竞椅连续5年中国电竞椅销量第1。开一局吗？开就开，保护有度度，尽情开一局。感谢全场保护的杜蕾斯。英特尔酷睿 Ultra 200HX 冷酷高手 AI 助攻，右边形战士来袭。
各位亲爱的召唤师们，欢迎来到2025英雄联盟职业联赛第2赛段淘汰赛。这里是京东电子竞技中心，让我们有请微博 Gaming Tap Tap Invictus Gaming。有请上单 Breeze The Shy。
Hello. Didn't think I'd leave you alone, did you? We have Weibo IG today. Absolute banger series. Both teams incredibly inconsistent. Two of our best worst teams on any given day. They sure know how to make you sweat, as fan and rival alike. This is elimination. This is the lower brackets. Both these teams picked up a lot of fans over the way, so sure we'll hear some very loud gyros at the starts of the games. Welcome everyone into chat, whether that's in Twitch, YouTube, or on Onivia's restream. Sam will be coming through in a minute. Weibo, not even, I was about to say IG made it through the lower bracket. They beat FPX the other day. Weibo, on the other hand, they made it through JDG, who've then just been knocked out in the lower bracket, and they felt fallen down from the upper bracket unexpectedly for them.
LPL 第2赛段淘汰赛第7日的比赛将会由
IG
对阵 WBG
Morning Wanted, Morning Solid, Morning Ruby,
巅峰
and Hot Wheels. And Mecha 30 stream streak, thank you very much for that. Morning Squish, and morning everyone over in Onivia's chat as well. We'll be paying attention to you as the game goes on, as we always do. So last split rather, Weibo lost in round 1 of the lower bracket of playoffs because they spawned into there, they seeded into the lower bracket because they were second out of JDG's group. So the fact that Weibo and JDG were once again kind of paired together there was fantastic for the last split. But then they ran into BLG in the lower bracket, who had of course been beaten by TT unexpectedly in their first split. They've done a lot better than that this time, both these teams making it through to the second round. Winner of this will face off against the winner of Top Esports and WE, presumably Top Esports, but WE did just upset JDG. So you don't take those things for, don't just take those things for granted. Oh, did DK lose to KT? They did. It's another one of Cadrill's teams going, hang on a second. I gotta put adverts on right now, folks. Sorry, I forgot to put them on. Because otherwise we get pre-roll. Oh, and I do it just as draft hits. Are you kidding me? Oh, I'm so sorry. That's annoying. Oopsies. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Well, bad timing by me. If you care about adverts, go to YouTube or drop a prime. Into the first draft of the day. Varus band. Comfortable blind picks. We still have Rumble Gwen. We still have Pantheon, we still have Neferi, we still have Vi. With the Silas ban, that's not a top tier ban, so we're going to see something else top tier pick getting through. Good morning, Derek. Who got side select on game 1? Weibo did. I believe it's by coin flip for the lower bracket. Thank you, Baneblade, appreciate it. Last ban, there's a lot of OPs left up. What do you ban? Do you ban the Rumble? Yone's banned away. Of course, I wasn't really banned that much in WEJDG. Xiaohu warming up the hands. Ari first pick for Xiaohu? Are you kidding me? Is this because the Vi is available? And they didn't want Ari versus the Vi, but they might want to pair it up later? I guess what you can say is you can get Vi or Pantheon, both of which are good with the Ari. Rookie, I believe, Rookie for me is a top 5 Ari in the world. Kalista on the other side, so not even picking a choice jungler. Are they letting Vi Ari go through? They pick up Rookie's Azir, which is questionable. Had an okay game on it in their first series in lower bracket versus FPX. Tien presumably goes towards the Vi, the Ezreal locked in. And if you go... Really? No jungler locked in? So surprising to me. Instead, Weibo saying, you've locked the Kalista, we need to have a laning answer, and they go towards Karma Ezreal without locking in jungler. Given how priority the Vi and the Pantheon have been, this is very surprising to me. So IG, they probably lock support now to make sure that they have a winning lane if they can. I mean, Nico's already locked in, which is a problem. Do you lock in Nautilus or Renata now? They lock in the Renata. It does lose out a little bit to the Karma, actually. The Nautilus can fight back by landing a hook at level 1. So now to the second round. Presumably junglers are gonna get banned. Weibo, you better get some value out of this bot lane for losing your choice junglers. Vi Ari has forever been a win condition. I say forever, it's been since 2022, right, or so. No, so Jarek, in terms of the coin toss, it's game 1 is by coin toss. And then game 5 is still 1v1 for side select. Shinzao banned away from Jieja. I'd imagine it's the Pantheon banned away from Tien now. Again, just point and click junglers to help set up Ari for success. Very quick engage options. And then for the side of Jieja, I guess you're looking to... You need an engage factor. You might even look for something like the Sejuani yourself. Or Skarner. Skarner might be good for Jieja here. The Pantheon banned away from Tien, as we were saying. Tien needs something to combo up with the Ari. I mean, Wukong's okay, I guess. So do you ban Skarner here as Weibo? Take that away from Jieja. You probably want something a bit more tanky initiator. Skarner or Sejuani? I think Skarner's better with the comp so far. A bit more self-sufficient. Rumble ban away. Oh yeah, they did have Rumble up. So many OPs left and available. We hovering Caitlyn for reasons beyond me. Oh my god, Kate by confirmed. Jieja's Neferi is very, very good, but they would be lacking some engage. They need to go towards a tank initiator on 5 really for that, something like an Ornn or Scion. Neferi locked in. Tien asking questions now about what he wants into that pick. The individual jungle matchups into the Neferi left aren't fantastic. Wukong, good diving pairing, good amount of squishies to kill here. That's locked in, I believe. There we go. So no engage besides the Cyclone right now from Weibo, which is a bit flimsy. They also need themselves a bit of an initiator. I don't love the idea of them locking in something like a Scion though, because you can get blocked off by the Azir wall when you look to ult him. And yeah, they go towards the Gwen. Very low CC composition from Weibo. Against JDG, they were playing very difficult to play compositions, but they still made it work somehow. Not easy, but yeah. Last pick for the Shy. Now you need something that can survive the Gwen matchup. You have a good bot lane matchup. Competitive at least. The Aurora does, yeah, does well into the Gwen. The Shy played it in the last round. I think he's 1 and 2 on the pick now. Locks it in again. Neither team having a great amount of engage. In fact, there's basically just a Flash Cyclone and Callista ultimate as in terms of your big engage. Yeah, Azir can occasionally shuffle. Quite hard to do that into a Cyclone. And there's your drafts for game 1. I think Weibo... Both of these teams spike really hard on one item for most of the map. There's like one member that doesn't spike on one item for each team. So expect those fights around the 1 item mark. Of course, early jungle pathing, very important when you have low CC but carry junglers. It's the extra farm advantage. It's kind of like... It really sticks very hard when you can't lock down a jungler and deny them their gold advantage. Both of these teams, 2 of our premier teams that play very difficult stuff to play on the whole. And we'll get ourselves into the thick of things. Thank you for joining us here over on my channel here to watch us cast some LPL. Of course, with the way the LPL is right now, your support means more now than ever. And we appreciate you being here. Oh, Sam, by the way, you left a dice and a +1/+1 counter in my room.
How about that?
Oh, it's from your Final Fantasy kit, Sam.
In the box.
Yep, it would have been in the box. I don't know if anything else fell out of it. That's just the stuff I've found. We'll get ourselves into the Rift and hear some presumably very loud gyos. Messy crowd chants again. Noah bought some Sencha. It's way too grassy. Get Hojicha then, or Genmaicha is still pretty grassy as well. If it's too grassy, you might have overbrewed it. But I prefer Hojicha. It's the more it's roasted green tea. It's nice. So okay, a very important question, chat. What is the funniest outcome? What is the funniest outcome from this match? I think it's Weibo somehow winning everything to get to finals, then getting blasted 3-0 again, isn't it? And I mean of MSI. Wouldn't that be just the funniest?
Is it finals of MSI and losing again?
I think it might be funny to make another international event than losing the finals. I'm not sure. That or I mean, Rookie. The funniest event is obviously Rookie not making another international. I think that or he does, and it's his worst international of his since Season 5 Worlds for him. Many questions we have.
How are we feeling about the draft, Sal?
No, basically anyway.
Oh no, there's not, is there? Oh, you got cholesterol. That counts.
Yes, and that's exactly what I said too. And it's like, well, that's the best you've got.
Rookie finds another really big shuffle.
This is exactly the thought process which I also went through. As of, well, you can maybe do this, but when you're looking for that kind, look, let's be honest. When you go into that line of conversation, your answer is they still don't have engage. It's like if you have to search that hard for it, they all have to search that hard engage.
Yeah, Alex, the problem here is this is a very serious problem. Is you're missing out on one very key factor of League of Legends.
Yes.
And somewhere out there, Don, Jake, and Jamada are about to start screaming. And that's the concept of aura. And the Shy, here with the Aurora top lane, but GG on the Inferior. This is an aura farming top side. You're here to just T-pose.
You're
smile at people.
not wrong. I mean, the Shy
There's
was
engage.
the Shy was effectively doing that his entire career on Weibo as well for his years on that roster. Breed's come in fairness, done fairly similar things. Good early shove by the Shy, by the way. Very good early trade, getting the minions under tower and threatening another full combo trade. So Breed has to back very early on. The Aurora's passive makes it so hard to take extended trades where often the Gwen exceeds, so she can't even just all in this lane because the Shy's movement speed passive from the Aurora would be too much to deal with. Gets control over the early lane. Good shove in there. The other side of the map, though, much better. They saw a Kalista locked in, immediately slammed Ezreal Karma, and they are getting the early push, and they've got a good CS lead with it.
That's the plan. And again, it's weird because obviously Kalista and Arthur are notoriously scary in lane, and they are. They've obviously got a very good ability to get a lot of poke down, and often got good ways to fight early, but they aren't necessarily the be-all and end-all of shove. I'd argue something like Ezreal Karma's got to be right up there as one of the premier shoving early lanes.
So, I'm aware this is something that we haven't done as much, like on the stream, because we've been, you know, we've been vibing and chilling and stuff. But let's talk narratives and stuff.
Ooh,
let's talk narratives, because I think that's one of the most important things that we can quickly deliver some of these things about. We might have to do that in a bit. Tien's going to complete his recall.
On screen. Yeah, we do, don't we? Tien's coming over. He's got smite and all of the usual tools. He's going to be really annoying here. Look for a smite fight. Gets a lot of damage down JJ. Try and nab away some of these wolves kills. Over comes Ura as well, so I think JJ's going to have to try and smite fight this. Doesn't necessarily get as much value there as I think he was hoping for.
JJ gets everything.
Just managed to get the camps at least.
Yeah, Tien doesn't manage to steal anything. I don't think he got even a single small one there. He tried. He'll go towards the Gromp, but JJ... okay, so now he says, alright, okay, I'm probably losing Gromp, and starts going towards the enemy Gromp. So it's going to be Gromp for Gromp trade. Gwen can't really respond in towards his top side. And this is one of those matchups I really wanted to talk about in terms of that narrative, because both of these junglers are world's winners, Tien and JJ. And for my money, JJ should win the world's finals MVP as well, much like Tien was. The fact that both of them have had like down years and bits of their career where people have doubted them. Tien was subbed out, of course, for Bo, and then, you know, a whole bunch of stuff kind of happened to him negatively. He's wanted to have like that kind of real comeback, and of course he made he made the World Championship and MSI last year, and we were thinking, okay, maybe you can recover from the choker mentality. That, I think a lot of people are still yet to kind of remove that vision of him from their mind. JJ on the other side, I think he's been playing individually very, very well, but he hasn't had any of the success. You know, back in 23 spring when he was back on EDG, I still think he was the best jungler within the LPL. Him and Tien have had some fantastic form between them.
Potentially now at rookie in mid lane who is going to just sidestep the charm and should be just fine.
I'd imagine his EU was on cooldown, otherwise you probably take the safe way out there.
Get some damage down bot sides. And now Ura is just wandering up the river, not going to find all that much. No, that was all. What's that video? Look bot side now. That's the Shy. Hops away with a flash actually on top of that all, so it does end up burning the additional summon.
Derek saying over in YouTube chat, never seen a Gwen with grasp before. You see it in difficult lanes and you see it in ones where you know you need to have the extra sustain through laning phase. So we've seen it a little bit in this split, much in the same way that we've kind of seen a bunch of laners go towards grasp. It's surprisingly decent damage in lane, and it gives you better sustain than fleet footwork does nowadays. Was also then again giving you some extra HP to work through the rest of the game with. Now, of course, you don't get as much value against a ranged champion, but in that case, it's less about the HP stacking in a melee versus melee matchup, and more about just that sustain of, okay, it heals you basically with missing HP.
Big time. Still, the range versus melee matchup does get a bit obnoxious all the way. While that's really the case right now, because obviously the Shy ended up in that. Then we had to do that little flash away, and they have lane swapped out of it just early on. Again, the Kalista Renata is starting to get to that point where the early shove isn't as problematic to manage. Ezreal Karma notoriously great before first pack, and then afterwards, very dependent on how those first few levels went. We get interrupted here on the reset. They're going to interrupt that one. They have got bailouts to work with here. They might look for a dive here, actually. There goes the bailout. Handshake gets a bit of a snap. True Shot Barrage comes on down. Gala's got the bailout to work with. They will lose one to the tower at the back end of it. Ura's coming on over. Gala going to try and find his way to hop around. JJ's coming, but he's going to have to leave it. And it ends up being a 1-for-1 in sorts.
Yeah, Gala and Maker can't pull off the dive quickly enough to get out. JJ will have to now hop over, goes to the W, but the charm's not cast yet.
Does miss the charm and ends up hitting a minion. Slightly awkward there. So you twisting your head a little bit disappointed in that angle.
Well, it's more of a, oh, I feel sorry for Xiaohu, because Neferi's dogs are one of the most annoying things to charm through. Because if you throw the charm at the dog tanks that charm. It will interrupt skill shots. Xiaohu doing a good job of not casting the charm early, but can't quite finish off the kill. They do get the flash out of JJ. Huge play out of Weibo. All the same. So it's a 1-for-1 overall, but with the Kalista dying and the Breathes Gwen kind of getting some gold out of a play they realistically shouldn't have, I think Weibo come out ahead.
Right for them. JJ now on the grubs. I think it's very best to be nabbing those away. Right, that's the one who ends up with a little bit more of the gold there, purely because of course he got the kill and didn't die. It's a big deal. It ends up only being a 1-for-1. It could have been a lot worse there for IG for however messy it was. It's going to be Gala now helping secure these grubs.
You're getting the 3 grubs when you have the Aurora, who is very good at splitting the map and hitting towers. Be a problem for Weibo, actually. So, something which IG will have to use powerfully. Don't know if they spot out her. They will now.
Well, there was a bit of a conversation when Aurora was first released by some people and trying out jungle and stuff. It was like, actually, is Nash's tooth worth to buy on Aurora purely to get through those passive autos a bit more? And you can sort of see why you are looking for those side lane options and the power out of the autos. You can sort of get where that thought process came from. It's not really what we see on the Aurora these days. It tends to go towards
we saw
more of the alt builds, I suppose.
We saw a couple of Lich Bane builds, but it really, the Nash Tooth never really came down in the same way. Leandri's just better. Tien getting into the enemy jungle again. Good farm advantage, wants to contest for as much as he can.
And all over these walls, trying to fight them. You didn't see the last time. This time around, going to go for that smite fight again. JJ got a second Dark Attack to work with. Wins the second smite fight. Good hand so far from the Neferi.
Did lose a couple of mini wolves this time though, and really worth mentioning. You know, I was talking about JJ earlier, saying, well, he hadn't found the success, but he had been a very good jungler within the LPL. I think up until this split, I would have said he was the probably most consistent member of IG. That hasn't lasted into this split. I do actually think he's won quite poor form in the last series or two. Of course, lost the first series versus BLG. I'm not going to fault him too much for that. BLG were good, force of nature. But then you look at their series versus FPX when it did go to those 5 games. Yeah, JJ had some poor ones. He had a stinker or two. And a couple of the series in Group Ascend, he's had a stinker or two. So for him, a chance to face up against Tien. I think in the early games so far, I favour Tien actually. He's been doing well at getting up into the enemy jungle.
Let's call it out. Gala actually won a game on Kalista last series, which is a shock for him. He's not always been known as a big Kalista player. But did wield that one successfully last time out. Have to do it here against Weibo as well. Is down that 10 tier. So, hey, Ezreal Karma got that from earlier. Hasn't changed so much since then. Well, I'll have a look at Rookie and Mako just going into the river, dropping some people down. This gaming in general, it's a bit of a weird team to track because, again, it's a team where you look at it and you go, yeah, every single one of these players is an international winner, a superstar of some sort, be that an MSI, be that a world champion. Across multiple different rosters. Actually, there are 4 world skins on that roster. The only person who doesn't have a world skin is Gala.
Who arguably should have one for his contributions to Kai'Sa, to the Kai'Sa Nation.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry, Uzi got his first. Maybe Gala, however many years down the road, maybe he can have it.
Has Gala got more? I think, but Gala will have the most international trophies because he's got more MSIs.
Yes, well, more than Uzi, yes. Yeah, he will do. However, like, again, the whole thing about Uzi is less about kind of like the titles, more about the inspiration. Yeah. And you know, you can't contend with you can't rather like undermine his peak level, which was absolutely insane.
Agree, and I'm aware I confused you there. I was thinking relative to the rest of IG with what I was also thinking.
Oh, right, yeah. Mako also has an MSI trophy, so actually I believe Gala and Mako have the same. So Mako has an MSI in the Worlds, Gala has 2 MSIs.
Ah, there you go.
And then the others did not win a second international title yet.
That's the thing with this roster. You go, well, I kind of see what the ceiling is on this roster. It is really, really high. The issue I think we've all run into watching IG, that IG have run into a lot more intimately, is they don't really have that deeper comp style pool. I don't want to say champion pool, but the way in which they play the game, the ways in which they can play the game, has often felt a little bit limited, a little bit shallow, and they rely a lot more on hands and vibes than they necessarily do like astute compositional concepts and coordination.
You know, I think that's actually that's a common point between both teams. I feel like the last series that we've watched from both these teams in playoffs, half the time I'm coming out of draft saying, well, we'll see how it goes, or this is difficult, or we'll see how they can play this. They're not confidently, you know, slamming out like easy to play drafts with clear win conditions. They're playing around like a bit of hand stiff, a bit of comfort, and a bit of just giving themselves a bit of a mixed toolbox to like not play towards one condition, but just like try and play out through hands, really. Like games like this, right? You have very little engage from both teams, but you do have good playmaking tools,
pretty much
good
everyone,
damage from pretty much everyone. Everyone is fairly self-sufficient, which can be a win condition in itself if you can manage them out.
It's just that little bit harder. But I remember we were having this conversation when IG drafted things like the Neferi with a load of mobility, but not that much CC, and then we saw them really pick apart team fights by picking up all these wonderful different angles and winning the game off basically having fantastic flanking movements. Mako, though, might just instead not be being flanked with too straight engagement.
Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Straight dead. The Fate's Call keeps him alive. How much HP is he on? 12.
He was under 10 HP. We only got the highlights. Almost spots out the recall. Mako was under 10 HP. Just about makes it out alive. Tien has been winning out the jungle matchup and quickly getting into plays. He's a good amount of camps ahead now of Jeje. Gets Flash and Ultimate out of the bot lane. Oh, IG.
That leaves Nymaera in a fantastic position. Era, one of those players we've been keeping our eyes on, has been in and out of the roster, been a rookie. But he has been part of that revolving door, but came back in playoffs, had a fantastic debut series in playoffs, and then slightly shaky a second, but still looked pretty good. Here in this game so far, the Karma has been pairing up very well with this Ezreal to continue to force Prio and allow this Wukong to be a menace.
Wukong now starting the Dragon. Xiaohu will come over. Tien been the real core of this early game so far. Valor and Mako tried their hands at a dive. They've fallen a bit of gold behind Light now. That's some summoners going forward. Mako doesn't have Flash, doesn't have the Glycerol either. Flash forward from Light. You pull out the hostile takeover. I don't think it's going to be enough, and indeed it won't. But luckily, his teammate picks up a kill before he goes down.
Nicely done. That makes that the 1-for-1. Both supports end up falling down. I shouldn't have said anything about Era, should I? There you go. That was my fault. I can only apologise, rookie. You're not quite immune to the caster curses yet.
The Husky wanted a hug from the dog pack. It makes some sense.
Oh,
Jeje and Jeje picking up a kill there. Obviously very important for the Neferi, and actually means he pulls ahead in gold in the individual jungle matchup. It's behind an XP still, but Jeje gets a bit of a freebie there as Weibo didn't quite spot him on the map.
Do you remember when we did that Wimberway cover about Haru ganking people? I feel like we could do that just with Al who is the doggo ganking lane.
I think you can do it with Neferi. Yeah.
From the jungle, the blue side jungle,
well, it's in red
the
side.
Doggo ganks my lane.
Neferi gang. Sam, Neferi ganks my lane.
Yeah, but Doggo is the actual. Yeah,
no, but Sam, that's non-specific then at that point.
Fine.
You know?
Okay, fine. I hear your point. Yeah, right.
I have a certain standard of excellence.
I just wanted to get a musical awoo out, Alex.
Yes, Sam, you can do that, but Sam, I trust in your abilities. You can do better than this. Yeah, that's fine.
They gank my lane.
Yeah. And indeed, they might do that to Breeze. He's going bot side, the Shy's pushing in. But Breeze, turns out you can teach an old dog well, it's not even a new trick. It's an old dog with an old trick, knowing that, they've pulled this one on me before. Gonna be the bot lane tower being taken by IG, shared between the Aurora and the Callista.
Sam is a real one. Thank you, Calamity Kate. Exactly that. I appreciate it. I probably should have warmed up before going full falsetto, but here we are in the morning. I've had half an espresso. Sabrina Carpenter. I've only got Sabrina. There's no Carpenter as yet.
It's Sab Carp.
Yes, Sab Carp. Just this weird fish flopping on the table. Oh no! What have I done?
Yeah. What happens when you don't finish your espresso? That's what you're left with. It's kind of like,
or you end up with like new noir detective Rena Turner.
Rena Turner. Oh god. Okay, you tell me in chat. Would you prefer to be Sab Carp or Rena Turner? You tell us.
What was going on?
Out of all
the games of the Rift.
Of all the top lanes they had to walk into, they had to walk into mine. Rookie takes the top lane turret.
I'm actually crying. That's not helpful.
You know, Jeje's died in his own jungle, and it's like, he's got his smite still in his wallet. It's a larceny.
He's the mid laner for a rogue. I know.
Oh my god. You know, if
Grand Larson E.
That's fantastic. That
I'm saving that. Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks.
Steal it with my blessing.
I will do so. That's the end of that. That's all I've got for you, Sam. That's the material I've got planned.
None of this was planned, Alex. This all improv.
Well,
come on, man.
That's what you think.
How's
Sam.
your improv sessions going?
Yes, and.
Yes, and that's the way out of this.
Yeah, no. So the thing that we learned in improv is, I know it is a very important matchup and stuff like that. But when you make a mistake, everyone cheers and goes, "You made a mistake," because it's fine to make mistakes. and you celebrate at least recognizing the fact you've done so. If that happened in the LPL, we would be non-stop applauding. It feels like sometimes with these teams, both had some harder roads towards this point. Weibo beating JDG, the 3rd seed, and of course sending them down to the lower bracket where they ended up losing on this very stage, their home arena. JDG going out the earliest possible opportunity for themselves on their home stage, and Weibo were part of the architects of that. IG on the other side lost to BLG, beat FPX. Now both of them fighting off for a chance to face off the winner of Top Esports and WE in the next stage of the lower bracket. I believe they'd be top 4 at that point. This is so I guess this is technically 5th, 6th before that.
Look, all I'm saying now is, could you really have doubted Weibo? They have the King of Spring, the Emperor of the Split here on their roster. Not to go full LEC on everyone mentioning Kings. I've yet to go Legacies and Dynasties, so we're fine. And in fact, this is the LPL, it's China. Dynasties make more sense here than anywhere else.
That's very true. We should work on that. Oh my god, we can have like, Sam, even better than that, we can even have like, with so many different people be getting success over time, we can have Dynasty Warriors, Sam.
Isn't that wonderful? So right.
Yeah.
Who would be Lubu? I feel like that's the Shy.
So I don't know enough nearly about like the Three Kingdoms period to talk on that, sadly. What I do know is like, so who the only like real like historical figures I know are, who is that one guy that just aura farmed that one guy and like
just I'm stopping you there. You understand that that sentence is possibly the least descriptive thing about history I have ever heard.
This one Chinese general who had like such a rivalry with this other guy, and the other guy became so like respectful and kind of fearful of him that he sat outside a fortress with a go board and a set of tea, and the other guy was like, call off the assault, we're not fighting. He only had 12 men in the fortress. Aura farming doesn't seem to cut it, as Shy might have to show off his legendary deeds, and Lubu do it again.
This fort is looking a little empty, but he's going to TP out the Grand Escape. They can't get in range. Xiao Hu ults to no avail. Curse you, Shy!
And like Weibo, they will not find their man, but they will find the turret using the Herald, and they'll charge in towards the top lane inner turret. Rookie might look for a sweep on mid lane, though, if Light overstays. Light, knowing that he's on the right side of the map, though, to stay safe, and won't leave himself open to it.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take the L, which is very appropriate considering his name.
Hongming is the guy that did that, by the way. The ultimate, the ultimate aura farmer.
That's exactly it. What item did he build? Abyssal Mask?
Why?
Debuff aura?
True. I mean, there are many auras. There's
Sunfire Cape?
Yeah, there's Sunfire Cape. There's Lock of the Iron Solari, you know.
There's the aura of Riz I just permanently have around me because I'm just an incredibly charming person.
Yeah, that's...
Stop, don't continue that into the insulting me. My heart can't take it.
In that case, so won't. Fine, okay. So Breeze took a good trade again. Well, or rather like, started like off the domino effect for the Shy here, who quickly understands he's in danger. Like, he knows he's in danger. His team's on bot side. They're taking Dragon. He quickly teleports out, and he's happy to at least not lose his life. The Shy, of course, had his tenuous relationship with the weak side of the map.
Yeah, he only believes in the dark side, the strength of it. There's no weakness in this man. He refuses to acknowledge its existence, and by pure virtue of will, can just determine that the weak side doesn't in fact exist. Atacana is being started, by the way, by Weibo. Worth noting, in GJ, as the observer shows us on the absolute opposite side of the map, this should be a fairly easy day, because Tian at this point, I think, can just solo. He's got 2 items.
Yeah, they are walking up the river, but with the teammates walking over, IG won't be able to contest. They... you know, pushing up in that mid lane, already took that mid lane out to turret, even enough in gold. IG not really in a position to fight this, though. Rookie could teleport up, choosing not to. Atacon freely over to Web. It's not the biggest loss ever. It's not the biggest objective. It does help a little bit, but it's not the end of things.
No, it's not. Shit will eviscerate away, get some value in. Mako gonna find a really good angle for the hostile takeover. What a flank. What about the turnaround, though? They didn't actually manage to get as much follow-up as I think they were hoping for. Fate's Call now out. Are running into the issue of having absolutely no reasonable CC and have done nothing.
This crowd is not controlled. This is a free-flowing crowd. No one is getting CC'd. There's like a charm, a cyclone, and a whole lot of mobility to get out of it. Yep. You place yourself. Honestly, chat, this is a very good thought experiment. I think it teaches you a lot about team composition. You go down person by person on each side of the rift, and you ask yourself, if I was playing this champion, what would I feel threatened by? And I look at almost every member and I go, well, not that much in a team fight. You know, Gwen presses W, has the ultimate and need to go backwards. Maybe you get you know, shuffled in some scenarios, but you're fine. Wukong has the clone, Ahri has the ability, the bot lane can speed up or shift out too on the other side for IG, much the same with their mobility, and Renata, who's typically left out lone, has the Kalista to keep them saves. So both of these teams are like, well, we're not going to kill champions, we better win this game somehow else, which means that Weibo getting the outcome, which we said it's a small objective, but it means a lot more when you view it in the context of, well, you're not exactly winning clean fights.
No, you're not. A bit problematic here, I think it's fair to say. Breathe, gonna chomp his way through that wave, and the Gale gold lead is 2,000 to Weibo, and we're looking at this going, well, they've got a couple dragons, they've got the Atacant.
Xiaohu might go toward the charm.
Into the charm. Gala gonna flash. Wonderful angle on the Ahri. Gets so much value here in the Orb Deception after A+ stuff.
Awesome from Xiaohu. Gets a very quick 2-item spike. The Horizon Focus being an incredible stat stick for this moment in time. And Gala and Mako, despite the fact that there is very little that can catch them out, still managed to by over-pushing in the mid lane. Great punish by Xiaohu. And yeah, if we have our own, you know, 3 kingdoms of winter, spring, and summer, the Spring King, it is Xiaohu, and he does make a great play to break open the play.
Rookie's going to try and get a shove on the other side. He's got the Nashes and the Nymaera, but forced to flash there as I was caught mid-sentence. Unfortunate stuff. We get a lot of value there. There's multiple summoners now down.
Dude, if we follow that logic, by the way, Scout obviously went out with JDG.
Yeah.
He always wins 3 best of 5s in summer. Always. Yeah. Somehow at the back end of it. He would be, I guess, our Summer Emperor as well. Xiaohu finds a great angle, but why did like, JJ's nowhere close. You don't have vision either side of mid lane. You don't have mid lane turret to protect you. No one's teleporting in. That is a very egregious overstep from what should be a rock-solid bot lane, which is very hard to get a hold of. And Gala on the champion, which has not been his favorite, not been his specialty, down almost, what, 1,500 gold.
On for a Banshee's Veil second or heading towards got the Verdant Barrier. This basically means that who stops this Ahri going for plays like that again? She is so hard to lock down at this point. She just gets to melee range of everyone.
No, and when we were saying, hey, not that much engage in this comp, I think Xiaohu has made a good call here to say, look, I can be the engage, give me some defenses on Splot 3, and we can get some value. Stuff like this. You can potentially buy the Kalista ultimate, half HP already. There it is, it's gone. Xiaohu, the architect of that again.
Now Eol's looking to get around the back end of this, threatening Mako, who's so damn low. The Aurora ult is good, though, from the Shy. But the hostile taker tries to come on through, they're getting some damage back. The bailout comes through, means absolutely nothing. Gala is having a festival at his own expense as Xiaohu resets again and again and again. The Shy really wishes he was a bit more nervous. Does at least take 1 down on the way out. Doesn't have enough cooldowns, gets hit by the Q. And Light will arcane shift forwards to get a bit more value. JJ at least survives with the call of the pack, but everybody else is in a mass grave.
Wonderful last few minutes of play from Xiaohu. Back in 2022, I thought he was one of the 2 best Ahri players in the world alongside Faker. And a lot of it was because at that time, she was an initiation bot. You traded your HP, you put your body on the line, and you looked to get those plays started. It's exactly the same he's doing now here on the Ahri, looking for that first charm in the team fight. You're the one that's going forwards first. And IG, they've been caught out in the mid lane, and now in the Dragon, just around that. You know, Tian jumps forward, manages to get the ultimate out of Rookie, but while this is happening, Xiaohu, great pick onto Mako, means that he can't be the one bit of initiation that IG have. Attacking the Renata has always been a valid playstyle, jumps out as Mako comes out of the play as well, even gets an awesome, if you watch just here, gets a second charm into the CC combo as well. More resets, Gala not able to stay safe.
Great work there. Rookie goes down, the 3-shot barrage comes across, Light then just gets to keep running it, and the Shy at the very least does get 1 on the way out. Then Light flash for the Essence Plug hits the Q. That resets the Arcane Shift. Straight all skill, as you would say. Xiaohu looking for more. Still got 2 charges on the ult. There's the Redemption coming on down, but happy enough to have earned a few more cooldowns. And at this point in the game as well, with all this ability haste, I really don't think Xiaohu's ult's going to be on that longer cooldown.
Nope. At this point in the game, I think it's something like, it'll be like a 60-second cooldown, something like that. It's 100 seconds at rank 2. You've got a bunch. You've got like 80 ability haste on your ultimate now, something like that. So it's almost half. So okay, it would be lower than that. It's closer to like 50 seconds at this point. You have almost 100 haste, and Xiaohu will be about to hit level 16 at that point. The ultimate is basically 30-second cooldown, which it hits now. And worth noting, folks, Ahri's ult cooldown starts from your first cast of it, not the last cast of it. So Xiaohu's ultimate can, in some situations, be cast on cooldown now from IG. You get a 15-second window of time to use it. when you first cast it, and then when you get a kill, it resets that up to a maximum of 10 seconds extra duration. So if you get a kill, get one near the end of the timer, you basically get like a 5-second cooldown, all things said and done.
Rookie about to get run at here. Will slide away, hit by the needles though, and actually going to get hit again. There's no quite ghost yet for Rookie, but he's run out of cooldown. He's just going to die here, surely. Does manage to get away with 5% HP, but Tien's coming on down. He's far too fast in the river with all of that water walking available to him. Jesus wishes. And Tien gonna think about starting forward. All right, Rookie tries to get something at the back end of this, knowing he's not getting out.
Yep, not giving it over to Tien. Just saying, okay, one of you can get the kill. I ain't giving assist gold over. Baron on the other side of the map, not started by IG, not in position to do so. They're so far behind now. They're against the Soul Point. They do have a cluster, which typically would be very good at stacking Baron. However, in this case, you're on red side, which makes it harder to play around the Baron because you're stuck with the wall at your back against a longer range composition with the RE and the Ezreal. And Tien finds out the Shy.
The Shy going to get Nimbus struck afterwards, trying to run away. Is doing a fairly decent job, but there comes the Smite slow at the end of it all, just to ensure that Wukong will not be denied. One of the stickiest champions in the game. Can't run away from him that easy.
Tien, awesome game from him. Awesome game from Tien. The early game was largely him invading the enemy jungle and stopping JJ from having a good time with things. And he's had clean team fights and it's unkilled on the Wukong and making a mess of this composition from IG, but I'd like to be buying a bit of time. JJ will jump onto Airhead, pulls the ultimate.
Keep hunting for something. They're going to have to jump over the wall, but then Light's going to say, all right, let's go. He's got at least the doggos in the way, throw some Dark and Daggers at Light, but he's pretty safe to keep going on forwards at this point with 3 items and a Ballistic Karma behind him. Is correct. That's the one.
Light farming over the wall in the way that on the Ezreal really can. We'll jump over now, presumably. Zitter, I don't think that makes you as safe as you think it does.
Farm goes wide. I mean, I've caught a slightly awkward position, forced to flash his error as the handshake came out, but again, no real hard CC means that's what you're kind of obligated into.
I was actually quite surprised that Xiaohu didn't look for the ult there. You know, he had the Banshees up, he's level 16 with ultimate, it's not a long cooldown. Dragon now up at a minute 30, IG not wanting to give the Ocean Soul over, of course. See whether they had any choice about it. They have to pray for a massive overstep from Weibo, and they can get their own reset onto someone. Rookie jumping forwards in the mid lane. Airhead caught out. This is not bad, actually. No one really in position to follow up. That's a good pick from IG just before the Dragon score.
Darla's flashing on forwards, looking for an angle. Just get jumped on as Tien has to try and turn around. It's a really big true shot barrage. The hostile takeover is solid. Xiaohu gets hit by it. Needs to run away, but gets one on the way out. Got another ult charge to work with. IG actually pretty low at the back end of this all the while in the base, they're losing inhibitors.
IG gets some really good picks there, killing Wukong for the first time in the game, getting Airhead down as well. Breathe does get the inhib, but you know, IG, they get a little more out of that than I thought.
Gonna get that reset off, and now Light's kind of trapped here. All of the pods, sorry, Hunt pursuit.
Wow, that's a lot of damage. Whoa!
Light just doesn't care, and he murders him.
Insane from Light. Manages to hop over the dogs to get a clean Q shot. Often Ezreal not good into Neferi because the dogs block it. Light, awesome combo. The press, the attack burst. Insane there, and kills Jejet now before the Dragon. IG had a brief window where they can make a play, lose their jungler, which means they lose the soul after, presumably.
I didn't blame JJ for looking at it. They saw the resets come on through. It's like, if we can pick off the Ezreal, we can look for something more here. And instead, the Ezreal just goes, yeah, no.
I mean, like, what can you say? A clean combo. That's a Dragdar combo, if anything. Go clip that. Right, so, let's see what he ends up landing. So the W's used very early. Gets the extra damage through from Jejo. 1 Q hits. W hits on afterwards, and he hops over to get the extra Q after. I think it was a Q flash, actually, to get across the other side of the dogs. Clean from Light. Wasn't even close there, Jejo. Got exploded.
There goes the Dragon. Secured by Breathe. That's Ocean Soul now for Weibo, you know, to make these nice and easy when you've got the likes of a Gwen, Ari, and Ezreal, who are quite good at proccing and keeping alive with it. Don't you run away here, just pull the pack, and there come the doggos back again. And the Baron now the next thing on the docket, I suspect, for Weibo game.
Yeah, Breathe doesn't have teleport, might still stick in bot side and say, look, I'm just going to push for an inhib. IG, you still have to respect Baron, and Weibo will basically sit in this kind of limbo saying, right, we don't have teleport for a little bit. Breathe can just sit on the bot side of the map. If IG want to do something top side, they'll lose inhibitor. And of course, they don't have that much engaged to threaten in the 4-man unit, which makes it much easier for Weibo to do that. Play through the whole bot side jungle. Of course, Gwen, one of the most annoying champions, are doing that with a ton of random sustain and bits and pieces, giving you loads of damage. Taking, you know, basically a couple of hundred gold. Like a charm again there. Good damage. Any damage onto Jejet makes a lot of difference now, because he's a key part of IG's next ability to take fights.
Very much so. Xiaohu Just hanging around the back end of this, looking to see whether he can start this, because IG are going to rush the Baron. TP's now coming on in. Here comes the rest
Where's
of
the
the
charm?
gaming. Mako needs to be a little bit afraid. Rookie goes golden. Gala at 2/3. Make that 1/3 HP as Xiaohu needs to back out over the wall. He's got one ult charge remaining, looking for the charm angle. Misses it. Baron be allowed to reset. IG can't get the value they're hoping for. Super Minions now in the base.
Yeah, they are. At least it's on top side, which makes it a little easier to clear that out than walk towards Baron. But Weibo say, well, you'd have to send someone back towards the base. You don't have that luxury now. We were saying, look, Xiao has basically no ult cooldown. He'll be up again in about 15 seconds. Ult pull through from the Aurora.
Got that one. That's the reset for this Neferi. Nexus turret 1 is about to fall. Has done so. They need to reset. They need to get out of here. And they're not. They're still stuck around. Rookie has gone back. Has got the TP to rejoin the fight should he need to.
Xiao missed the charm flash there, but has the ultimate up in a few seconds. All it will really take now is one bit of CC landing. Teleport back in towards the Baron after one wave has been cleared. IG realize we have to go now with this slim advantage. The Shy gets a good chunk.
Does indeed. Tien chunked out low. Not necessarily be going out as yet. There goes the Baron being started and run down. Too much to deal with there. Try and jump a little bit further forward. The needles come on out. Reeves getting some damage. Does get shuffled back, but not putting a lot of damage. Good steal in secure by Jie to ensure that the Baron goes their way. Gala will try to bounce away around and will fail to do so. The Baron was secured at the cost of 2.
Cost of 2, which means they will probably lose another in here anyway. I don't think you can defend, and as we were talking about before, the Ari ultimate kind of just decorative at this point. It's basically always available. Weibo will take the 2 kills and see if they can break the base before IG can defend it with the Baron buff.
Basically got no wave clear as well. It's Aurora or bust at this point. Callista, the Deer being down for the count makes this very tricky indeed. Mako about to be jumped out here by Tien potentially. Inhibitor number 2 does fall.
There's no Callista ult for the Renata either. Teleporting in. There's only one Nexus turret. They're just going to end.
Shy tries to throw to between worlds, gets some damage down. The hostile takeover is solid, but Light just isn't taking any meaningful damage. They don't have the engage, they don't have the CC, and they sure as hell don't have the damage. Nexus now under siege, and Weibo Gaming may lose the Baron, but they'll take the Nexus in trade.
IG fell behind due to the antics of Tien and Xiaohu, who managed to find better skirmishes and team fights than IG. Neither team really locking in that much CC meant it really was about those individual mobility plays. And Weibo come out ahead, winning the first game of the series. And if it checks us to anything else we've seen in play so far, that is a blue side win. IG will go on to the blue side into the next game and see if they can try their luck to do something a little bit different.
That will be the plan. Weibo. What a weird old team they are, but when they're on, they are very truly on. There's some wonderful players on there. They make it nice and easy for themselves. Especially as IG, we already said it, like, what was going on with the distinct lack of CC? Hello, folks, Initialise here. That one would be Nymaera.
Hello.
Thanks for having us here on the stream. Glad to have you all here coming and supporting us as we look through some League of Legends, namely LPL action, which is pretty damn cool.
Hello, Marco, by the way. It's you, the Redeemed. Hello. Why is blue side so much better? You know what? It's just aura at this point. Blue side should not be as good as it is. It just is. The stats are there. You can't deny that blue side is winning an awful lot. The only thing which I can think of is because there are so many branching pathways in Fearless where you don't know and you haven't studied every single eventuality of, oh, what happens if this pick is out? What happens if this pick is out? It's easier to plan around your strong picks than countering unexpected picks from the other side and countering them effectively in red side. I think that's why Fearless is more blue side favored. It's easier to prep for blue side than it is for red because you can plan around a strong first pick and then design a composition around that. Blue side just has the right vibes. Angie, you've got that completely right.
I think there's also been discussions about, well, does blue side just get more access to strong picks? Because you get the first pick and then you still get like in the meta right now where there are in fact just a lot of strong picks, like yes, you trade potentially 2 back, but you still get the opportunity to set your composition up first with like an archetype pick in that first one. Say, okay, we're going to go for a Vi. Cool, we're going for a Vi comp. Let's get strong picks that go with the Vi. And theoretically, you can't take away all the strong picks that go with Vi on red 1-2.
Yeah, and also, as we saw in this game, it's not like blue side can't counterpick as well. I think in the first round, first pick, we talked about picking a strong pick to design your composition around. But right there, we saw a Callista on 2-3 from IG. And Weibo, most of the time, you consider red side the counterpick side. You saw that Callista, and they immediately locked Ezreal Karma. They got ahead of the game, they countered that lane, and the Callista was actually counterpicked. So I think that in the first 3 picks, I think blue side has a huge advantage. And then when you get into the second round of bans, you can kind of cover up some of your remaining rolls anyway on blue side anyway with the 2 remaining bans. So blue side, like, it's harder to counterpick it unless you prepared an absolute plethora of picks and you know all of these matchups coming in advance. But in Fearless, because you only play against a Kalista the one time, or the Azir the one time, or the Ahri the one time, or whatever, you don't plan the specific counters for those picks as heavily anymore, because it's not worth it. You know, if you have to play 5 games in a series and you're playing as 5 different champions, why pick a counter which only works into one of them?
Big difference again in the AD carry. Light just smashed Gala this game. That is not a particularly great Kalista stat line. Didn't get things rolling. In fairness, I don't think it was that easy. We had issues with the composition, and IG needed to basically find fights and keep fighting and use their damage and mobility to get snowballing. Otherwise, it was going to get very tricky.
The real answer is because green side would be overpowered. Well, wouldn't it be the same side for those who are, like, colorblind? You know, red side and green side, green side is just red side if you're colorblind, so it looks the same. How far are you into Apothecary Dives, by the way?
I've just seen the colorblind episode.
Yeah.
So I knew where you were going.
Okay. Let's not do spoilers too much, but yes, that's like in case anyone else did that. But enjoy Apothecary Dives. It's been good. I preferred the first season. It does. I have to say though, Sam does catch up again. Like it picks up again, like episode like 18, 19 in the second series. It's been good. But yeah. The haters are out in full force in the post-match threads. Of course they are. It's IG, and look, the LPL post-match threads are they're an experience. There are some very well-meaning people there. There's a lot of people who are delusional, but I like them. They're fine. And then there are some just really questionable people in there sometimes. Like myself, I'm one of the questionable people.
I'm all questions all the time.
Yeah. Rookie was kind of useless. I mean, yes, but also there's a million things which can jump on top of him, and he doesn't have any CC on his team to lock them down. It's like, Wukong's always been good versus Azir. I think that Ahri, once you get into mid-game, is good into Azir, as long as you come out from early game with an advantage. Ezreal's good into Azir because you outrange. I just didn't like the Azir pick in the draft. Like, I just don't think they should lock in the Azir without a strong frontline or CC to keep them alive. But no, Rookie's Azir has not actually been that successful over time. It's been okay, but it's not that good.
Honestly, I think he's had some game split where it's been fantastic. And that's why I go, what the hell was that? Fairly regularly, in fact.
I mean, if IG lose the... Oh, man. Right, sorry, I've got to go pick up the call real quick.
Go for it. True Shot Barrage comes on through there one. That was just nice angles from Light, who did in fairness have a fantastic game. I'm curious to see who gets the MVP, actually. Nope. Hello, folks. Yeah, blue side picks before he comes to executes. I think that's very true as well. Opinion post. Ideal finals matchup. Ooh, now there's a question. I think these days, something like BLG top esports might be quite cool. That could be a really fun one. I think IG making finals would be hilarious. AL making it would be pretty good as well. Weibo for the memes. Are we playing Worlds or too short of a break? Are we playing words? Or I should have been. I wasn't paying enough attention. Is the honest answer. We probably could play words on stream, actually. Just so we can put it up for you. There's our MVP. Good for light. I think some for mid as well. That's a pretty reasonable split. I think I personally would have gone Xiao here, but I completely get why there was, in fact, something like that. Well, is this all we need? That's all we need. Words on stream. What have we got? Oh, good work. Beer. Bull. Oh, what's a good one? Oh, that's a good one. I'm always awful at working out where W's go. Eyebrow. Ah, good work. Oh, big. I just cannot win. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I kind of agree, but I refuse to cut them out until they're gone.
“关闭车窗，空调调到22度。”
好的，都搞定了。你好，很高兴我们重新认识。
买3C 数码就上京东，国补叠加也就换新4折起。买手机上京东，享国补加倍补低至5折购机。买电脑上京东，国补叠加也就换新低至5折起。买数码上京东，后款至高24期免息。
Let's go.
电竞键鼠3重补贴，至高优惠50%。打开京东搜赛事预测，赢1000元耳机。京东。
I did go again. Whoops, my bad. Where is this? Where have I put it? I've lost the thingy. I need to move the thingy. Meow.
我觉得进入奇迹之路跟淘汰赛之后，我们队伍在运营和团战上做的 进步挺多的，但是在前期对线上和组合选择上还是有更多的提升的。淘汰赛的话，就是要更考验一个选手的英雄池吧，然后每一盘的英雄组合也是非常重要的。然后蓝色方的话，就想办法一楼选一个比较好的英雄，然后围绕这个英雄来做 BP 就好了。IG 的话，感觉最近的比赛也比较需要靠中野去起节奏吧，然后多去注意一下中路和大英雄的选择吧。
Oh, Xiaohu, my guy.
对于我的话，我觉得就是在比拼大家的英雄池，然后比拼心态，比拼对。
Weibo 3-0, Mako and JJ 2-1. Lock, you really don't rate these guys, do you? You really think Mako and JJ are out of it, don't you? I think JJ's been a bit inconsistent recently. But I think Mako's, ever since the awful Blitzcrank game, has not been anywhere near as bad. I don't think that last game was his fault at all. I had more issues with the draft than I did individual play, should we say. Nicely done. Got time for one more. I think. Let's go. Not bad work, folks. Only 3 remaining. Ooh, gonna have to be fast because we are on stage shortly. I see cameras. Good work. One more. Been poor and prompt. It's got to be probably an O, or maybe an R. Prof. Oh, nice work. That actually counts as a work. That's hilarious. Good work. 5 levels events. Alright, should be coming back into draft shortly. There we go. Into draft though. Full game number 2 of the day. I'm surprised Prof worked, TFC. I'm right there with you. Kind of wild. But there we go. Getting ourselves up and rolling for game number 2. Try and bump some people here a little bit. There goes Ambessa off the table. Lots of melee AD options away from Weibo Gaming, interestingly. Oh, welcome back. Just starting up draft. You alright?
That's birthday today, so...
Need to give him a call. I'll do that for the next game.
I was calling our parents because while we are here for LPL, we have family events, and it's good to recognise that too. So if you go say you love your parents and stuff. If you have a good relationship with your parents, I'm not going to say that if you don't have a good relationship. But getting very much off track. There is a draft.
So, currently observing some potential options here.
Been to the Shy. I love you, Dad. I remember Worlds 23 is the Rumble first locked in.
Good grief.
And now, so normally with the Rumble, you want some hard CC, kind of point and click, easy to land, long range CC, so the equalizer gets good value. You'd love a Varus, that's banned. IG, they could go towards something like a Jhin, especially with the Lucian locked in. That would work in terms of getting something stronger in the laning phase too. You could also go towards something like the Pantheon. Pantheon Rumble, surprisingly good, because the Pantheon opens up a second flank, very quickly engages too. Except Tien takes that away, noticing there was some danger there. Now maybe they could lock it in alongside a Ryze or a Galio later into the draft, because you typically like to pair global with another global.
Yep.
And however, you have locked in 2 Dash champions. Poppy likes that.
He does very much like that. Exactly what you want to lock in. It is something that Maker plays, something that JJ also plays. Quite good Poppy, I can argue, one of the better champions at the minute. So definitely an option. Already feeling like they've got a little bit more of an engaged tool to work with. Do you need a little bit more CC for my money? Exactly, they want to pair up with.
How much money are you giving them, Sam? All of them? We're giving all of the money to.
I'm giving them exposure bucks, Al.
Wow! Whoa! Let's not get out of hand here. You know, we've made a career on that, Sam. Third pick coming in shortly. There's the MF, so it's not going towards something. What was I calling it before? Something like a Jhin, right?
Yeah.
They don't have that much CC, which is what you were saying basically beforehand. You know, I like to make sure that I say what you say just louder, so I get the credit.
So you get the credit. So
yeah.
Jokes in class, yeah.
Except when you say what I've said, I get annoyed when I say I just said that because I'm annoying like that. It's a brother thing. If you have siblings, you get it. The pick going in for Breathe is the Cassante, another Dash champion. There is a world now where the Rumble or the Poppy, the Rumble goes support, the Poppy goes top lane. By the way, there is a world. It probably won't happen.
Who played the Rumble?
It was
recently. It was one of the people in LEC, wasn't it?
It was Giant X played it. Jhin played it.
Yeah.
And of course, it was an FPX special because Doc Diamond Life used to play that.
Indeed, they did
a lot. But Breeze's been playing more of the Cassante than anyone else. The champion is dead, but it still has some limited options when you're trying to play.
Breathe has been good on it, in fairness.
So very good.
So in credit to him for all the champions very nerfed, for Breathe in particular, I give him some credit going, actually, I've seen, my eye test tells me that your Cassante is still quite good.
Yeah, the Shy Poppy, the best Poppy in the world. I mean, he did have that magnificent escape. I want to say it was start of this split where he had that kind of like 1 versus 3, 2 versus 3 on the bot side with the Poppy, and he just escaped from like all the way in the middle of bot lane up until his own inhibitor turret.
Yes.
It was absolutely incredible. So he's had a couple of couple of really good escapes on the pick. But that being said, unlikely to play it. The Rumble is very much the top lane pick here within the LPL, and that'll be his pick most likely.
That's bound to come on through. Might well be another one of those support options. The Braum's already gone. Good defensive tool into things like the Misfortune. Also mess up the Poppy potentially as well, because you go diving in and Braum goes, cool, thank you for joining me in my boudoir. Braum have a boudoir.
How am I meant to know the personal life of Braum? I've played the Ruined King game, and from the information I've gleaned from that,
he is scared and pursued by Alawi.
He's not scared.
Blustered, maybe, is the term.
Yeah. Braum's great. By the way, folks, if you haven't played the Ruined King game,
great game.
Go play it. Wonderful game. Great way to hear a lot of the characters which we play have a lot flashing out to them. Who picks up the role? We have actual Teamfight CC! We have Teamfight CC, finally. It is, however, another Dash champion. It's the Poppy. And now Mako, I think, is actually quite happy to take that spot lane. Yeah. If you want, can go towards the owner and get some more Teamfight CC for yourself, too.
Then more than enough CC, I think. Suddenly you're feeling a lot happier about your life.
Yeah. And then the mid lane, blind picked. I mean, technically it could be the Lucian mid lane, but unlikely to be so.
It is Xiao Hu.
Yone's banned. You can go Annie, maybe extra CC for, but then you have 0 DPS. I almost wonder if Ryze is good here. Not many bad matchups. Gives you a global to combat the Pantheon, takes it away from Xiaohu. And gives you some anti-tank damage in the way that you don't have as much of right now. You could go towards something like that. In fact, I'm quite good at champion select sometimes. They're hovering it, will they lock it in? It's an easy one. Takes it away from Xiaohu. Yay, I got a champion select thing right. You can post a clip of that on Reddit now and call me clever. Except now I've said that I'm clever, and therefore you will no longer think that I'm clever, and I'm just looking for exposure bugs or something.
And they are too.
Last pick for Xiaohu. Now I wonder about this, because you need something that's safe from a Leona. Galio is more mobile. I don't mind this. It's a double global. You have DPS from the... Okay, do I mind this? You have no damage outside of Lucian if you lock this in.
Okay. Tien needs to pop off from the Pantheon then.
The worry is, if you locked in a Victor, you get pinged by a Leona ult, your fight is over. Galio can survive the initial engage. What do you do after the initial engage is down? That's my worry. It's another difficult to play composition from Weibo because the only damage source you have really is the Lucian. And if you get Room Prison, Solar Flare, Bullet Time, which can't get blocked, so you don't have a Braum Shield, an Equalizer, and Lucian goes down very quickly, you don't have the damage to turn that around now.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, obviously things like Cassandra going all out, Pantheon after a couple, once if he gets fed, Galio to an extent, they do have some damage to them. It's not like they have no damage in the kit. And certainly I think if you do get to a point where you just get to bruise through everyone, we've seen what Cassandra, we've seen what Pantheons could do. But there is a worry there that if you do kind of fall behind curve, your damage is going to start to get not quite hit the threshold required.
Reminder that Weibo's not won on red side in playoffs. Well, that is a very good reminder because we've been talking about the power of blue side based on aura and vibes, apparently, because people sometimes just feel, let's go give ourselves the hardest draft to play imaginable on red side. Weibo, yeah, not the easiest composition to play here again, not because of lack of engage, but because of lack of DPS. Now, it's all well and good having some burst, but the question is, once your ultimates are down, who can actually do damage? It is only the Lucian that can do that. Xiaohu, if he has a good Galio game, and he has been playing the champion well recently, perhaps he can add an extra facet into this. Well, I said diamond composition, that'd be a bit of a rag against them, wouldn't it? But Weibo, hard composition to play, other side IG, lots of damage, lots of wombo, and they also have a global to combat the other two on the other side of Weibo. Let's get into game and hear the gyros. Anything interesting happening at level 1? I'm asking that question, chat. Can you answer me? Is there anything interesting happening at level 1? Well, I think it's no. Well, maybe there is. Well, chat, you could have told me this, couldn't you? Yeah, they walk into the brush. Gonna get some vision down. You could have told me this. You could have let me know. Ugh, I was counting on you for this. Some wards down as the bot side jungle, spotting out JJ's early pathing. Now, there is, every so often, a caster says something and it sticks in the community. Stuff like red side, R1, B1, R5, you know, obviously LS has a lot of these. Sometimes, or in the case of Atlas, you know, the Shelly and Shirley, and a couple of the things like that. Now, the thing which I tried to make happen was one, Weibo consistently inconsistent. That one has stuck, thank you very much. And the other one was full build Poppy, where you hit level 3, you get a red buff, and you're ready to just win the game. So JJ is about to hit full build on Poppy with the red buff. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Rookie walks over the Winds of War. Nice from them. Of course, the mind game against the Galio is he going to cast the Q short or long? And you try and step in the opposite direction, of course. JJ through his second camp now. Will get himself closer to that full build. However, he is on vision. This is why the vision is really important, right? You see that vision in Pixel Brush from Weibo, and of course on the Raptors as well. They really want to check where JJ's leaving his jungle, right? Because if he leaves through bot side, then bot lane gets a bit of extra, what's it call it? Extra warning. Tien knowing that he's not going out into his right side of the map means that he's safe to go on bot side. Even Pantheon doesn't want to play against the Poppy very early on, despite Pantheon's early dealing prowess. Oh, flash in. Burns the cleanse from Gala. So flash for flash cleanse. Gala gets out with a fairly good amount of HP. Shy, great trade on to breathe on the top side. K'Sante does not fare well against the Rumble that early. The thing what you do is K'Sante, and you see this here actually, is you make a decision as the K'Sante in most lanes. Do you start Q, get wave push but lose HP, or do you start E and tank up the first hits but don't get any damage onto the wave because you don't have any damage onto minions that way? I think he started Q here, lost some HP, choosing to teleport back in with first back of the game. Only getting a little bit of gold, gets the boots first. That's a little bit of top lane information for you. JJ, as we were saying, hitting the full build Poppy, and I'm happy for it.
Is indeed. What can you do at level 3 on Poppy? Everything.
Everything.
That is
absolutely everything. The full build Poppy. So, like, look, the biggest casters in the world who have the most eyes and ears on them do get to... Hang on a second. This is the full build Poppy!
There's the dive on into the Rune Prison as well. Xiaohu's in so much trouble, and he is dead to rights. Nice play in mid lane.
It did full build, but it as prophesied. Poppy Al-Gaib sees the golden path into mid lane.
He controls the honey fruit, controls the river.
Yeah, all sidewalks lead to him. He gets around the corners of mid lane and goes through. Yeah, when you are one of the bigger casters in the world and people actually listen to you, which I'm afraid doesn't happen to me that often. You know, your Atlases, your Captain Flowers, the big names of the world. You say something funny enough or on point enough if people remember it. I'd like everyone to know that we tried our best here with full build Poppy, and I think it's a pretty good thing to bring out.
My go. Gala will auto a few times. Now in a spot of bother. Ends up taking some press the attack damage. Debating interrupting some more here and does so. There's another auto. Gala, on his usual pool party misfortune, flash away from the Shire's Breathe. Threatened with the Pathmaker, so the Shire will have to flash there trying to get that wave crashed in.
Okay. I feel like I say that a lot now when I need to start talking about something else. I say okay to buy myself some time.
I go so.
We go so, and you'll notice we've done that a lot more since we've been casting 150 hours every goddamn month, because it turns out, folks, sometimes you need to not think about what you're saying that much and go to the tried and tested, because there's a lot of games. Now, I wonder what it's like for the players here, actually, because to draw a parallel, you know, you play so many games back-to-back in the LPL playoffs, and if you do win this series, you're only playing it in again in a couple of days, right, to play against the winner of WE Top Esports. You have to be playing day in, day out, going through the routines, and if you have routines which are exploitable, teams will prepare for that. You need to be very, very on point. Stuff like your warding patterns, the ways that you position in lane. In fact, I remember a while ago I saw an EU Masters team realizing that if someone, a mid laner on red side, would always stand in this one part of the, just over the wall in mid lane, back when there was a wall back in mid lane at that point. So if you picked a composition with like Blitzcrank or Rakan, you could always get their flash level 1. Stuff like that. If you make an obvious mistake, people will start exploiting that when they have time to sit down and really review your individual habits. Things which you had no idea were an issue can really come out to bite you. Tennis must start Dragon. I think it was it Boris? Yeah. Who was the tennis player? Boris, what's his name?
Oh.
Yeah, one of the huge tennis players of the 80s. Dragon has been started up. We're actually going to contest over. Well, we do have a level 6 Poppy now, actually. JJ ahead and oh yeah, the Poppy level 6. This means that they can, even if they don't want to fight, can pull that ultimate, see if they can force the smite out and get the contest for free.
To do it, and overcomes some damage.
Oh, great wall stun.
Massive damage from that wall stun. Galio does come in and tries to keep people alive. TM fails to flash out, but Galio will get traded. Turnaround damage beginning to come on through. So 1-for-1 as it stands. Importantly, Gala is the one that died versus TN though, so there's no smite available right now, making this a bit of an interesting one. Should be able to secure this with that smite, and does so. The Winds of War will nicely timed, but it won't turn into anything.
Really good play from JJ. Last game was diffed by Tien pretty hard, but this time gets a kill gets an assist in mid lane, and then gets the assist onto the jungler as well after getting level 6 early for that fight. Didn't even need to use, you know, a big ejection ultimate from the Poppy to seal things in their favor. IG getting off to an early start, and that's a problem for Weibo, because if this combo gets ahead, they'll have more damage to dunk down on poor Lucian's head, who's the one person who can really carry DPS later into a fight. And that's the real Achilles heel of this composition. So Dragon up, gold up. Weibo do have some gold on the Lucian, but he needs to be kept safe. And that's going to be a hard thing to ask for later into the game.
So, Make It Rain comes on down. Too much to be sincere. So I said. There it is. And I say grubs spawning, and they are indeed. I thought it was Herald for a second. Oh my god, it's so later in the game than it is.
Sometimes I could expose so many of our crutch phrases, and
yeah, it would give away
you'd never be able to listen to us in the same way again. No, with regards to that is a big one for many casters. I got rid of that one eventually. It's like, no, Rookie, you know, he's ahead in the individual match who gets the kills, but, you know, the Galio will be okay in team fights with regards to that. 10 in that top side, starting up the Wars of the Court, starting Grubs. Weibo, they're calling else anyone over to this Xiao, who does have teleport, doesn't have ultimate. Of course, use that in that ill-fated fight in bot side, pushing out mid lane. First grub taken by Tien, not bold enough to stay around for the second and third.
Not this time around, so they'll back away as IG decide these set of grubs will be theirs, with the exception of that one that was nabbed by a Weibo. Not that much else to talk about. Not really. We'll note the light has gone towards the colour if we've not mentioned that already.
I haven't, no.
And both AD carries.
Sam, you've deprived me of getting annoyed at something. You could have said something I said before, and I could have, you know, been unreasonably annoyed for.
Yeah, it's not like you don't. Not like you ever do that in return, ever.
Yeah, he does have the cull in case we haven't mentioned that.
Such a menace. Era does end up taking a bit of a trade damage there. Have we mentioned the culls yet? You know.
Yeah, if only there were a scythe-like item which gave you extra gold value as the game went on from farming value. With that in mind, which is another crush value for us, by the way, with that in mind, Gala has that cull as well, actually. The Shy pushing at the top lane, getting ahead of Breathe. Breathe is going to have a huge fight or skirmish at some point to make the most of this pick, because the Kasante is very hard to make work unless it gets a lot of random golden fights. Breathe is walking forward, let's see if he can hit that Q3. Not able to do so. And the Shy, you know, very happy in this matchup and will take the gold which he's got and completely slam it over the head of Weibo later into these team fights.
Damage. Really there to be found at this point. I'll be interested to see what Xiaohu builds on this Galio as well. So he's gone for the early Dark Seal. Is it going to be a damaged Galio? Grand Starfall coming top side though. Good timing from Breed. Drags him straight to the Grand Starfall path. Flashes away. Trying to run on out as best he can with the Nimbus cloak speed and will survive this play.
The Shy loses his ultimate and his flash, but getting the ultimate out of Tien, taking a lot of HP off of them too. It's not like they can really redive with that now, question mark. No, they can't. Cross map now coming through. JJ has Hex Flash. Xiaohu gonna get ulted and will flash away.
Does just that. Was Breathe traded his flash in alt top side as well, so it ends up being quite even everywhere you look. I suppose Xiaohu losing that flash additionally bot side kind of sucks for him. No real way around that one, I'm not going to lie to you.
Minutes till Dragon, have you talked about that? Have I?
No,
cool. Right, okay, that one's a safe topic, cool. You can tell our active listening definitely goes through the drain when we get up early and we have to cast many games of League of Legends. Minutes till that. Of course, no flash on Xiaohu now is going to be impactful for that. The Shy also not going to have flash. Does he teleport towards top side and just match Breathe because neither of them have teleport? Eha going forwards, catching out Gala.
Fair damage down. Does to stand and deliver though as Era does finally get the Magnet Storm down. Gala about to find himself in danger. Does get turned around on though as Rise finally begins to unleash. Bullet time. Wonderful angle into the Keeper's verdict. Keeps them locked up there in the waves of firepower. Xiaohu now needs to back away, but where does he run except into a wall courtesy of a little shove from Zhizhi.
It's the blue side aura. IG. Playing so different to that first game, cleanly finding engages. I really think Rookie, who's pulling the Realm Warp, has been such an impact in this early game. Has Cleanse and Flash. Lights, very nearly going down. Ooh. Rookie flashing forward, can't quite confirm the kill.
Let's look in there. It was a little bit far, but hey, Rookie's feeling it. 3-0 and 2. Yep. Looking a lot more confident than the Azir last game where it felt pretty hard to play.
I think a lot of people think of Rise as a scaling pick, and he is. I think early game Rise is incredibly potent, though. Speaking of that, he's probably recalling. Zenith Blade will just stop her from... Well, it will stop the recalls, though, will air her, so he's still happy with that. Dragon Startup wasn't, of course, taken in that last play. But yeah, the early game of Rise, now particularly on this patch, where the combo went from 40% bonus damage to 60%. Very, very powerful. Going to find a little bit of that because he doesn't have flash. He's been stopping recalls and instead finding a quick way home himself.
That was great from Nymaera. And again, this is a player we had a lot of love for a couple series back, but he has been known to be a little bit flippy looking for the big plays and oversteps his bounds there pretty heavily. And he's rightly punished. Dragon goes the way of Weibo.
Yeah, against anyone's legend, Erha was hard diff. However, the only reason we got to face him is because he hard carried game 4 and 5 versus JDG in the series before that. It's the play in the mid lane again where, you know, yes, Erha goes forwards, but the follow-up is just not there. You know, Tien's not in place, the Galio ultimate's apparently not in range. Maybe that was being called out a little incorrectly. And then Weibo, after losing that support, had precious little CC left to stop the bullet time, which does a hell of a lot of work from Gala, who's also having a much better time for himself on the Misfortune compared to the Kalista of last game. Playing picture-in-picture. Breathe trying to look for a 1v1, does get some decent damage, but misses a Q, and the Shy will pick up a kill onto Breathe.
It's work there. He just gets to stand and deliver with a little bit of assistance from his Rise and Poppy, and in fairness, I'm looking at this now, and this Rise is so damn scary. The start split pushing away. He's got a couple grubs to his name as well. Rise, not necessarily the best turret taker per se, but he's quite a good side laner because of his mobility and survivability. He's about to face check a Pantheon though, and that might be a little less fun. Begins to run away quite fast with the phase rush. I believe he gets speed off his passive as well. I forget exactly what Rise passive does in its entirety, but there we go. Xiaohu is caught in the red side. John, how are you here? Why are you here? He was by Krunks!
My dude, there is smoke and mirrors, and then there's blowing smoke up your... okay, whatever. Xiaohu, dying in the enemy jungle, 0 and 3. As Weibo, the wheels have come off the train at this point, and other such analogies too. That Grand Star coming in mid lane, but again, it's a snatch and grab play. Mako has flash. It's a bullet time getting good damage down. Yes, the E comes through from the Pantheon, but Gala and Mako winning out largely in the 2v3.
Huge value there as they just find themselves a lot of gold ahead generally.
Yeah,
4K up this early on. It's brutal.
I'm sorry, guys. We're more pin towards top side. That'll just be to collect the wave. No extra kind of fight coming through. You know, Rookie does get the passive on. Might be able to get the W afterwards. Using the Dometry to get a little bit of a gap closed there as Breathe went to the outside lane and Rookie took the inside track. Yeah, folks, after a certain while, it is not blue side diff. It is just aura diff. When you're on blue side, there's something about that. I don't know. Maybe you get lag on red side from, or maybe it's just a brain diff. I'm not sure, but red side just seems to just massively nerf teams. I have no idea why. IG playing very cleanly on this side. I think, you know, Rookie on the rise in early game, particularly with the combo buff as we were talking about before, has been an utter force of nature. He's been ever present, and Weibo, they needed to protect this Lucian. They needed to play very much nuclear, and not nuclear family. That's different. Anyway, okay. Yeah. Lucian is the baby.
Who's mom and dad?
Well, Rel was meant to be like 16, so that feels bad calling her
She's 34 now,
which is not right, by the way. It's like the fact that they just retconned that is such a huge difference. Anyway, Breathe missing that Q3. There is a Pantheon on top, but Poppy's here to stop him.
Yeah, now looking topside to potentially shield vault onto Rookie. Deus shield vault, but here comes the keeper's verdict to the rule knocked away.
Wait, Xiaohu's in trouble now.
Oh, Xiaohu, no! The verdict is death.
He thought he'd have teammates, folks. He thought he'd have teammates. And JJ hits the eject button. Like one of those really weird Pokemon comps with Dynamax. Whatever, that was a whole few metas away. JJ has been utterly unleashed in the pop. He can even go behind top lane if he wants to do an extra kind of threat onto Breathe here. Breathe, I'm not sure you want this fight.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Alt where my teammates left once again.
Breathe, you are not safe to be here. Mako's here now.
Oh, he's all out. Go on. Take those trading weights off. Here comes Era. Let's go, value. They shut down Rookie. That's actually fairly significant. Mako now in danger as the Culling comes on through. Trying to get the kill. Can't quite get it as the minions are in the way.
Okay, that time Breathe could go for it. My mistake. I wasn't watching the minimap. The Cardinal Sin of everything does have flash. Might be able to go to Mako. Mako doesn't flash early. Flashes late instead and dies. 2 quick kills for Weibo.
Massive value there, as they will manage to nab away a turret as well. That's the bounty. The problem is Gala's in the mid lane with a Herald working, so he should be able to drive forward towards the second turret. Does so. That means tier 2 likely going to fall here, though I think Xiaohu probably does have just enough wave clear to deny that. 30 seconds on Dragon. Tien ulting in, looking for an angle, can't quite do it. And the attempted punish on the shove through mid doesn't happen.
So Weibo do manage to get some gold, top lane turret, a couple of kills. Better than it was for them. However, they're still almost 2,000 gold behind onto this rise, even after the shutdown. The initial play, I mean, wonderful stuff from JJ, but also you literally see the Poppy charging up her ults. you never press ult there as Galio. You just let it happen. Wait for the top hill to time out or miss or whatever. A mistake there in the second-to-second decision-making of Xiaohu. I mean, I guess the call was, let's just pull everything topside, but you have to sit back and be aware of the reality of the situation. Dragon now going into IG. That would be their second. And Weibo, not sure they'll look into another play like that again in terms of the cleanup after that play.
Where do we find ourselves? There is still a gold lead to Invictus Gaming, and it is a good one. However, nice counter punches there from Weibo in terms of at least getting some bounty gold, at least getting some gold in terms of some shutdowns going on to some members does feel pretty nice. They are still going to run to the fact that this Rise is 2k ahead. Rookie is giga terrifying right now, and it ain't getting any easier. Again, about to get jumped on. Does have breathe around. Just slides away the big bug. Shield vault forwards. Lights now around. And I think they might have got a little too deep here. Mako does manage to get some value there with the Zenith Blade. The Keeper's Verdict knocks one away, namely the Pantheon, which is actually a fair amount of damage. Turn around from area. In comes the Hero's Entrance. Mako now in danger. Going to get caught in the Equalizer though. The bullet time is brutalizing. 2 additional members down. Xiaohu getting burned alive as Light trying to try it up best he can. Rookie flashing on out. Gets shoved into the wall. Does breathe as GSJ gets on a triple kill to Gala's misfortune. GSJ still hunting as he puts down a hammer shock and backs away. Man, this misfortune just untouched. Got to auto. And the love taps are a bit too much for anyone else to handle. So, IG find themselves a lot of value in the red side. Jungle can now look to go top side, and the Shy can pick up this turret top. Feel pretty good about themselves. Final outer turret goes down.
I'm going to pretend I saw all of that, and I wasn't making a coffee. So what I have to do now is speak over the replay like I know exactly what happened. So yeah, no, the big thing you have to keep your eyes on here is I'm going to guess bullet time from this part of the fight because he's really far back. Did I guess right? Well, they don't have any cancels left. They're in a choke point. Steps back, and Equalizer, bullet time. Yeah, I was right. Yeah. Turns out it's quite easy to guess that when a composition is entirely about bullet time Equalizer, but good to see it play out in that fight. They walk into a choke point. They don't have any cancels. Really well spaced by Gala. Just not able to get on top of that bullet time cancel. Like triple kill. Yeah, I was right. You see, that's why they pay me the exposure bucks. They pay me the exposure bucks because I can tell what happens even when I didn't see the play at first. Nice.
Well then. Where do we find ourselves at this moment? Still kind of waiting on the next dragon. We're in this bit of a lull state before Baron spawns. Atakan is available, but we've all seen people go around that. Though that said, IG are kind of on it and getting it for free. It's a nice win more objective. It'll get them a fair number of extra petals. We're actually pretty even in that point. It's been a relatively bloody game, so change things around. They got 31 of them. Charging the wall there. Just TN is actually now in a lot of danger as he's caught on the Equalizer as well. That's really important. He tried to zone people off and ends up getting blown up himself. The solar flare afterwards fantastic as Rookie spell fluxes and gets the phase rush dancing on through. Xiao gets a brief taunt, but all the while on the other side, the Shy does die out to breathe. Not bad in a 1v3 from the Cassante to at least get something back, but will die nonetheless.
Still a 3-for-1, and Light is alive, I suppose, but with bullet time still available, it's not really like he can jump forwards and do that much, especially when he's still 2,000 gold down as well. IG have been much better in the team fights this game. They've been able to keep Gala safe. Rookie has been running rampant, and now he's got, the full stacked Seraph's Embrace and close towards the full stack Rod of Ages as well against a 0-5 Galio.
That is pretty insane.
From Xiaohu, who just came off of a great Ori game as well. Like, these two teams are just so ridiculously coin flippy. IG, Weibo, Weibo, consistently inconsistent. This team, you can never tell game to game what version you're going to take. It's not even series to series or week to week. It is literally game to game with this team. But IG are much better. Both of these teams are the factory makers of aneurysms. If you are a fan of these teams, I am so sorry. I am so sorry if you're a fan of these teams, because they are not okay for your health. Now, as a neutral viewer, Weibo, IG, some of my very favorite teams to watch in the world, because I, as a viewer, never know what I get to expect, and that is the beauty of sport and of competition, having that random chance. They take it a bit too far, these two, and I'm glad I'm not as emotionally invested in them as some.
There is only pain that way. I saw the results of KTDK earlier, and some wildness occurred as well. We just get lots of that in certain teams of League of Legends.
The funny thing for me is, like, hang on a second, Maker's gonna get caught out here. Does have flash and ults.
Pretty tanky right now, but the Eclipse finally runs out. Solar Flare's down on the bullet time. Again, in a good angle, but TN managed to take out a lot of it.
Oh,
Right
the
now,
equalizer!
The equalizer afterwards is an absolute phenomenon. TN is roasted Pantheon. Shahu comes on in, but there's no one there to save the hero's entrance. Is a decade late. Breeze flashed over the wall, but so does the Shy. Looking for the flames, but it gets into the base gate. It's actually a fair amount of damage. The Shy's gone way too deep, and they get that kill. But the health was so low. Last auto and the double up block point of the Shishio is flashed on in. He wants to keep going. This Poppy has long passed full build and will not need to use any more of their power.
So it's somehow only a 1-for-1, but given that they started out with like a brief 1v5 by Mako on the front line, Mako makes it out without using flash, setting up for another bullet time, which was wonderfully layered with the equalizer as well. That will open up third dragon for IG. There will be a teleport in from Xiaohu, but he's still 1 and 5, no ultimate. He can't help that much. And look, he had to walk up to look for something. Instead, he just finds his death. It's another kill, which will make the dragon even easier to take. Yet again, third dragon cleanly taken here by IG.
Dragon taken by IG. Soul point, and at this point, the game is realistically over. The 7k, we've already had the issues about the damage. This Rise is ungodly fed, so is Gala's Misfortune. Like, there is very little at this point you can do as Weibo Gaming. The only person who's closest is Breathe, who's ironically only 200 gold behind the Shy.
But then the problem is, Rumble just compositionally just does way more than the Cassante. It's that kind of like force multiplier, right? You get the ability to kind of force projection. You can always use your Goldie. While bullet time back onto Tien, very nearly killed off by Gala. Flies onto mid lane as well as Light is forced down to half HP. We'll get some honey fruit to feel a little bit more safe. But IG starting the full court press. Don't have access to Baron yet, but don't really need it, honestly.
Decent shove on forwards there. Turret. About half HP. Knocked into the wall is Mako. Solar Flare comes on down. Damage back is solid. Quite enough.
Breathe, yeah, the one person with the gold lead, much harder to use it. Much harder to use. You can see in plays like that. So there's a realm warp onto mid lane, equalizer to slow him down. He chose the right place to decide. Oh my god, he's exploded.
Oh, don't blame him looking. Here comes the hero's entrance. Gala just flashes away every time they try for Gala. He's got his flash up. They can't consistently keep burning his light. Gets hit and goes down. The Thornbound Atacon begins to pop. And a last member goes down. Another kill over to Gala, who's picked up nearly everybody this last couple fights, it feels like.
Weibo schooled IG in the first game. Jet and Gala diffed really by Tien. And Light, of course, Xiaohu in the mid lane as well. Fantastic Ari game in game 1. Game 2, flip it the other way around. You know, I think Jet has been magnificent on the Poppy. I think Rookie, 8, 1, and 10 on the Rise. You can see why this pick is so powerful on 25-11 with the combo buffs and everything else. Kind of tangentially working to make him a very strong champion, with the AP item changes still kind of working fairly well in his favor. I wish I could tell you what was going to happen for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you confidently that, oh, we've seen this and we've learned this about the teams. I just can't confidently say that about either of these teams. You can see how different it is from game 1 to 2. Airhead exploded in this fight. Weibo not able to cleanly find fights the way that they did in the first game with the Wukong and the Ari, just not firing on any cylinders now.
Yeah, this car is stalled. Again, I refer again to the color theorem. This is a blue game, Alex. And therefore, we know that blue side will always win. Tien getting jumped on here. Solar Flare comes on down. The Zenith Blade afterwards and gets some damage down to the Aegis. Salt means very little indeed. Era on a deep flank here. Where is the damage? Can they look for this? Era's going to go looking. Trying to jump onto Gala. Remember, has no flash. Gets stuck in here, but doesn't really take all that much meaningful damage. They don't have any way to actually threaten Gala through all the front line. Down goes Era again. Golden goes the Shy. Stays alive. Light flashes to no avail. He is snuffed out.
Rookie untouched in the fight, machine gunning as Gala brings the extra artillery as well. All guns firing. IG, another clean combo. Weibo have not been able to cancel, I don't think, a single bullet time in this game. I've not seen a single cancelled bullet time. Mid lane, 10-1-11. 80 carry, 9-1 and 10. Well, why not throw in the jungle as well? 2-0-19. Good overall team performance from IG. They'll take the Baron easily. And Weibo, they, for a long time now, should probably been thinking about game 3 instead.
Not much more to be done in this game. with the Baron on. Soul in a minute and a half. And a lot of waves to shove. Does feel like Weibo will be very happy here, rubbing their hands and smiling at what's going to happen next game. They need some vengeance. Hope they're smiling at the very least, because I think this game has been a bit of a bemusing one. Just look at Rookie's scoreline alone. 10-1 and 11. How much better is this than the last game? IG, so bloody mercurial. Very hard to read, but it's the RAF felt a lot more playable. And they get the snowball rolling.
Really like the build here from JJ. So I know it's not that important now. Like, when you're this far ahead in the game, what else are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
I really like going for the Sundered Sky Deadmans, because it gives you a lot of HP and tanky stats. But it also means that your first auto attack on someone slaps them very, very hard with the Deadmans and the extra crit as well from the Sundered Sky. Turret's going to fall down, IG. This is the victory lap. They'll be pushing in. Weibo, they will just have to choose where they die and exactly how. Don't really have a choice about that. Besides it, good stop on the dash back, and it's been an end to a torrid game for Xiao, who just about makes it out and retains a 1-6 scoreline rather than 1-7.
0-7 on the rail as well. It's not been pretty. The Nexus turret under siege. Light eats a single double up and loses half his HP bar. My god, that misfortune is Federa. Caught on the equalizer, burns out the Shy, gets a double. As his ultimate feels a bit of a lie. There's nothing equal about that damage, that's for sure. It's been IG favored from minute 1. And the snowball careens into Weibo's Nexus. IG will even up the series.
Early saving grace, no one got a Pensa. Felt like it was the kind of game where they could. They'll run one onto the Nexus for the party trick. And the series is even. At least 4 games today. Of course, it had to be. Both of these teams consistently inconsistent. Weibo perhaps the kings of that worldwide. Heard KT also had a good run of things earlier today as well. So it seems like our coin flippers across the world all rejoicing or commiserating as well.
Well, we'll come and say hello over here. Rookie ended 12-1 and 13, by the way. He did quite a lot. That's pretty nuts, actually. Goddamn. That's great. Get her hydrated. I will do that. Alex, I want to go call Dad 'cause it's his birthday.
You can do that.
So I might go do that.
Do you mind bringing my coffee from the other room
Absolutely
as well?
can do.
So I've done
I'll do that while I'm on the
Okay,
phone.
cool. So we'll wait until our highlights. We'll wait until that stuff will play some words on stream. And as always, folks, if you're in chat and you want to chat or ask questions or stuff like that, of course, we're around to say hi and make you feel welcome in the stream. Merry birthdays, Hapdad. Yeah, for sure. Happy birthday to my dad. As he's a wonderful guy. We lucked out with our parents. Our parents are absolutely lovely. I don't know where. I'd say I don't know where I'd be without them. Not existing. Actually, that's actually how biologically that works. So floofy today, dude. My hair is so crusty. Like because so on the LEC, I get like longer curls, like waves put into my hair, because they do it with curling irons and stuff like that. Well, not curling irons, you know what I mean, like heated stuff. It means that like my hair does get damaged more. So now I've got a break from the LEC for a while because I'm not on finals weekend. What was I gonna say? I get a bit of time to rest my hair a little bit, which is nice. I need to cut off like another centimeter or 2 at the back at the end of my hair too, just to make sure that the ends are not kind of kept traveling up the hair. All the IG doubt has disappeared. The thing is, I find it so funny how people could react to game 1 like, oh, this team is so awful. IG are dead. Both of these teams are like clinically insane. Both of these teams are not okay. These teams are just not okay in League of Legends teams. Like, they are some of the very best worst or worst best players you've ever seen. You can't predict them. No, when it turns out, yes. I mean, actually, what was IG's win rate on blue side? Well, they ended up losing on blue side to BLG, but have they won a red side game yet? Have they actually? I can't remember if they did. Let me have a look at the match history actually. Jesus, man. So let's have a look at playoffs in general. Where was playoffs? Is this just whole of playoffs or what? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 14, 15, 16, 17 blue side wins, and there are 6, 9, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 17 to 24. So it is like a 60%, 70% win rate on blue side. It's pretty high. 60% maybe. And IG specifically, they've won 1 game on red side. Yeah, they've won 1 game on red side and they've lost. Yeah, they've won what they've only won on blue side. No, they've won one game on red side, the rest are on blue. Hell of a lot of damage from Gala. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Invictus Gaming supporter. I will throw down the emotes all day, all long. However, that does not mean I'm not a massive doubter in everything they do. As it should be, honestly. Hey, Asuka, how's it going? Good to see you. Hey, Dragoon. Who else haven't I said hi to in chat? Enjoying, don't think I said hi to you. Hello, how's it going? Mr. Moses predicted a game 5. With these two teams, I think that, that makes a lot of sense. That's an awesome play. Yeah, JJ's walking away with the MVP. No doubt about that. Thank you. Let me go to gol.gg actually, that will be able to tell me some more red side blue side stats. Oh, they lost a lot on blue side against IG. Yeah, so IG is actually more even in terms of their side selects. Whereas... where's past this? What did AL do in their first round, actually? Oh, they also stomped in red side as well. Right, should we place... Oh, I need to wait for... I hope IG will win, because I'm not sure how Casual will cope if they lose after the DK series this morning, after also his team lost to WBA Masters. That's like a lot of L's right back to back. Here's our MVP. Of course it was Rookie. Rookie was insane. I mean, I think JJ also had a shout for it. JJ was very, very good. I think Rookie or JJ, either one is fine. I would have given it to JJ. I think his early ganks were insane. This is a play from Poppy as well. This isn't really a Rise one. I think it should have been JJ. JJ was very good. The flash engage in bot side river. We shall play some Words with Friends. Well, no, Words on Friends. Words on Streams, the one. Was it a couple of jungle? Okay, so it's 5-3. That's actually not too bad. That's an okay spread. I would have put more towards JJ. I think it was really good. Hey, Mistos, good to see you. Went to the gym to get rid of my wobbly game arms. Now gonna make creme brulee. Oh, nice. I like a good creme brulee. Seabat. Dragoon, do not state such cursed tracks in my chat. Anyone else? Did anyone else? Was anyone else around when the Seabat stuff happened initially? Anyone else inducted into the meme of Seabat? Hey, Harold, good to see you. Roast to Mistos. Mistos, you're the kind of person that would use Seabat as a backshots rhythm. Take that as you will. I feel. Has anyone showed you Seabat yet? You should look up Seabat. So basically, there was a guy who, no, someone's girlfriend, made a TikTok basically saying that, yo, my ex used this song while we were doing things for like the rhythm of it, and it's the most cursed song ever. Actually, can I find it? Where's Seabat? I think it was a TikTok. It might have been. Oh no, it might have been that too. Where the fuck is Seabat? Where is it? What is this? What is this, man? Like, just imagine it. Or rather don't, but like... Yeah, no, you've heard this before. Yeah, I'm not going any more than that. I'm sorry, it's too much already. Oh god, Seabat. Yeah, wow, that's really what you want to hear in the bedroom, you know? Okay, words on stream. We'll do this round and then we'll go into a break for a bit. Level 6. Oh, this is where stuff gets hard again. Oh my god, chicken tendies. Oh, we already have stone. Right. Strauska, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate you. How are you doing? I hope you are doing good, all of you. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good now. The last couple of days have been really difficult. A lot of visa paperwork and financial paperwork and stress about streaming and streaming numbers and stuff like that. But having a day off to play League and Helldivers. By the way, I've been spamming AD Assassin junglers with but specifically AD Assassin junglers with Death Stance first. I'm going down the ex-Petu advice, and it's really good. Like, Death Stance is just such a good first item. If you go like Conqueror, Death Stance, you are really, really strong, even against... Are you also a Zed jungler? Yeah, but I'm a Zed everything player. I played Zed bot lane, I played Zed top lane, I played Zed mid lane. I've always played Zed in different roles. Do you remember back in like Season 8, Season 9, when Shifter started playing Zed bot lane? I played that a lot around them. Oh cool, we have a hype train. Very cool. Well, if anyone would like to drop a prime or share some bits or something like that, now's the time to do it for the hype train. You know, there's always that chance of getting the golden kappa, which we did get a little while ago. We did get that. Anyway, I'm gonna put on some thingies. What's we call it? The adverts, and we can start again. Just round one again. There we go. Did you know, this is a fun fact, a free one for chat. Did you know that a last is a cobbler's tool? You use a last to make shoes. It's like the thing which you put shoes onto to like stitch them, I think. Oh, that actually does count as a word, huh?
细节方面没做好的部分是有的。今天赢了，比赛肯定开心。不管对面是谁，自己做的 做的部分做好的话，但谁都能达到优势，是这个原因。我们做这些的事情的话，应该是能达到好的结果。最重要的是自信吧。一般训练赛的时候可以做的操作，比赛上没做到的是挺多。
Yeah, that should technically be a word.
有自信多一点，可以训练赛练的部分可以做到吧。是很多粉丝们支持我们，是最好拿到胜利吧。是我们继续努力拿到胜利。
I'm sure they were very pithy and wise words from the Shy, but I can't speak Korean, so I can't tell you that. I gave it to garlic, clean and always in the right angle. That's a very good point, Katal, actually. Yeah, me too. Oh, cool. Perfect red. Nice. Let's go. Probably have around time for one more then. It's all good, Sam. I can do champ selects if you need. It's all good. Time. That's a lot of L start words. Quick round, nice. Still don't know what Lien means. A word. Ease. $27 seconds until hype train ends. Okay, onto the rift soon. See if we can pass this at least. There we go. Nice. Passed the round at least. We might not be able to like stick it on screen for that much longer because you know. Lien is how a loan can be secured. If you don't pay, a lien can be used to take possession of property. Okay, didn't realize. It's very cool to know. I think during a hype train, by the way, gift subs are less expensive, I think. Oh, lean, not lien. Okay, lean. Yeah. I'm in my Chinese pronunciation mindset. Weibo game 3. I mean, blue side. Blue side's a thing. So, I'm saying so again. Draft 3. Blue side winning both our first games. Draft very different from game 1 with basically no CC to game 2 where Weibo had basically no damage. This track is the one which reminds me of the thing. The Thing, not John Carpenter's The Thing. Reminds me of the Death Star run. Not Death Star run, but it reminds me of a lot of the Star Wars soundtrack when they're on Yavin. It's very, very cool. What are they going to have? Basically none of this draft? Wait, what do you mean? What are they going to have? Basically none of this draft. We're choosing one thing each draft to not have. We had no CC in first game, and then Weibo had no damage in the second game. That's a very good point. So, what are they going to have this time?
No brains, no hands.
Yeah, no bitches, no grays. No CC, so no damage.
You have to look at me like that? Wow.
You're the one person I could look at in here, Sam.
Wow.
No frontline. Many things we can think of. No screens, no mouse.
No screens, no mouse. I can see that one.
Or perhaps no lag. Maybe that would help.
That'd be a solid one.
So, Varus first locks in. Not that much to combo it up with in terms of because I really like Varus when you have like Gwen Rumble who need a bit of CC to get their ultimate's big value. You don't have that this time, as Sam's taking a picture of the screen to put onto socials and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
IG, what's your response? What do you pick the Jhin? Just take the Varus Jhin trade that's been very popular. If you lock in the Alistar, it's you can shrug off the Varus ult later, but you do need something to help you through that laning phase. There's no Renata for Erher to lock it alongside the Varus if you want to pick like a hyper-aggressive lane, but I guess the Alistar is less of a case now. I think you need Jhin. Or Sivir, one of the two. Sivir is quite good into Varus, and Gala does play it, of course. I mean, almost every LPL AD carry's had their Sivir time. I guess they don't have to lock it in now. They locked in the Yorick. I guess with Rumble out of the way, that's one of the matches which Yorick doesn't like to play into. Also, not that many globals to go towards Yorick's lane, which means he's happiest split pushing without people interrupting his honorable 1v1. Breathe could go Jax, could go, which is fine. Sion, if you want to lose the lane matchup, but then hold the lane. Love isn't always on time.
The wave isn't always on time.
Yeah.
Actually would have been better.
And then going towards team fights as opposed to really looking to win in that 1v1.
Well, they've got themselves some good front line. The Rakan, one of the more mobile engage options. I know a lot of supports out there actually really value Rakan purely for his mobility, the ability to kind of hunt on flank out and just rely on the ability for you can slip out of most issues.
Great way to, if you look at both these supports, right? When Alistar goes into the play, his only way out is if everyone dies or he just kind of like finds a way to walk out while people focus someone else. Rakan can almost always jump into a play and then also get out. He's the one engaged support that can get into a play, get all of his EC down, and then also safely escape as well. The Jhin does come through for Gala. It's a big pick for him. He's played a lot of it over the last couple of years. And it gives you a stronger laning phase to cope with that Varus. Jhin Varus tends to hold each other at bay. It tends to be these two AD carries both locking in towards utility, long-range CC, strong laning phase. They're actually quite good archetypes of each other. So that Varus tends to be a little bit more versatile because you can go on hit, so people prefer that Varus to the Jhin. I think strictly speaking, Varus is a little better in that laning phase too.
Well, now what are we wanting to do? Jhin doesn't quite count as a global, but he does have a fair amount of CC and follow-up that can kind of help support side lanes purely by walking about 2 meters off one side and then pressing R, which can be quite helpful in terms of your ability to follow up from downtown. I'm getting tired of these 86, like Jinx and her fellows who are in good states. I mean, they kind of are, but they are also reliant on a very different class of supports at the minute. I think a lot of the items they like to go for aren't so easy. You do start seeing them as like game 4-5, but early on, things like the Jhin, things like Varus, way more lane dominant, spike way earlier, are more self-sufficient, they don't need as much setup. All those kind of things tie into the fact that we don't really have teams these days that want to play for 3-item feed the AD carry combo. If you're going to play around the AD carry, it's maybe something like a Callista or a Misfortune or something that can smash early. Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian's coming back into the play, into the game, which definitely does help with that. Hyper carries do come about in Fearless, particularly when a lot of our engages down. Rookie getting denied the Yasuo, interestingly.
It's all attempted last time, didn't work.
Yeah, we did see the Yasuo Diana from JJ and Rookie, which did not work versus FPX. In fact, it very much did not work.
There was the really cool Keyblade combo, though.
That was cool, and then he fell behind like 5,000 gold individually. They lock in the Lilia now. They don't have a Yone to lock alongside it. Rookie could go towards Tristana, depends on the lane matchup. Or you could just go double AP in mid jungle. It's not the worst thing.
Not the end of the world. You've got Yorick and Jhin in, so you've got some AD damage. There is significantly worse option. What to go with? I mean, Annie has been banned. Yep. Otherwise, I would have seen that being a fairly good option.
You have the Alistar for engage, the follow-up from Lilia as well. Corki, looking like it's going to mid lane, because what it does also takes away the Corki from Rookie. And also, if you go towards the Tristana, Corki bullies Tristana early. It's really not a good matchup. So now Rookie needs to think a little bit more about his matchup. I actually wonder if he goes towards something more like the Victor or the Orianna now, as it's a Zyra for Tien. I believe this was banned in Weibo's last series, but it's not that popular. What we have seen... we have seen it banned. This is the first Zyra pick in playoffs in LPL. Good at buying space, good at annoying Yorick, because Yorick can never really gap close you. as long as you don't get caught in the dark possession. Rookie, think about Victor Oriana, I'd imagine. Oriana's the one that's locked in. Strong early laning phase. And of course, you then give the cow ball delivery system over towards Mako as well. So IG, they have engage, they have range, they have damage, they have split push. Neither team has a global, the Scion being the closest to it. I guess Scion does count as a global, but often he's in the lane with the Yorick, so that doesn't matter as much. Weibo on the other side, I think we've finally done it. We have human compositions finally, folks. We have, they have laning phase, they have team fight, they have range, they have engage, they have damage. Now it's a little strange that we do have the Zyra coming through. It is the sole AP though, and given, yeah, I guess the only way you really end up getting caught there is by an errant swell seed. We'll get through onto the rift shortly. The coaches will bump fists. Actually, we just missed that as the transition thing. By Chris Edgworth, by the way. Great guy. Enjoy his work he's done for us on this channel. Game 3 coming up. Will blue side retain its 2-0 win rate in the series and its 60% win rate overall within the playoffs? Or will we see something a little less one-sided towards the blue?
I do love the string music. It's nicely dramatic. Nicely dramatic indeed. Indeed. No crazy skin choices there. Everyone's going fairly normal ones. The Earth Corki. We don't see a lot of Corki mid these days. In fairness, Corki in general is kind of fallen down to kind of, well, we need something that's kind of fits generically into most compositions.
Yeah, it's very strong in the early levels. However, I will say Oriana, good matchup into the Corki as far as things go. So Rookie picking for lane matchup there. And I hope we see any more even game. Stomps both ways so far. Let's see the gyros.
IG's gyros are, as ever, pretty deafening. What an insanely engaged fan base they have over in the LPL.
So when we had 2 series days when the crowd would be, you know, there for 2 different sets of teams, you could tell when IG were playing, because even when there was a popular team playing on the other series, all of the fans came for IG instead. Ticket sellout in moments. We were talking. There's a guy called Omar, who's occasionally in our Twitch chat, who lives out in Beijing.
Yeah.
So see if they actually get to go to any of the playoffs. But basically, from what they were saying, as soon as IG is playing, ticket sellout in seconds. They are just so popular. The Shy is the most popular player in the LPL by far, and then it's someone like Jackie Love. JJ, actually quite important, popular player too, being one of the last Worlds winners from IG. Mako as well. Many of these players building up a fan base over time, and that's a really cool thing to see for actually both these teams. So you got Xiaohu on the other side. Of course, the Shy was over on that team too. The Shy playing against his former team, and Xiaohu playing against his former top laner too from their World's Finals appearance in 2023. Seeing so it's both teams with such engaged fan bases, as you were rightfully saying, Sam, is really cool, particularly in this year. Particularly when we have the LPL, who's not won an international tournament since MSI 2023, not won a world championship since 2021, and that was EDG. We need our heroes now. We need them more than ever. When we need our fans to believe in them, we need you to, well, if not believe in them, be excited for them. Be happy to watch them play, win or lose. And to bring a little bit of that fighting spirit back to the LPL.
Has to be the idea. So, Thala, got a fairly okay win rate on the Jhin. Again, IG in general got weird win rates because they have played some interesting games. Though Mako has had a killer time on this Alistair. He has been so good at this champion for so long. That win rate does not surprise me.
It's his career most played champion alongside the Braum. Sadly, not been able to keep up his Thresh play rate, because Thresh has been kind of garbage since 2022. We haven't seen that one for a long way. And someone asked in chat, why is the Shy so popular? Mako, of course, being another one of these players too. But why is the Shy so popular out of all these players in a league with Bin and Jackie Love? Bluntly put, because the Shy won the first World Championship for the LPL. Let's see if we double all in, actually, from the World Summoner. Hang on a second. Punt backwards. Ahead. Play safely here.
Nice damage back, and Era just helps get that one going down in favor of Mako, who just presses the heal, and the Rakan dies very early on at the level 2. The Shy now in danger top side. Flash away, gets the last rights healing, hit by the deadly spines, and the plants won't quite get it. Last auto will do the work, though.
Breathe. tanking that tower up, and Tien gets himself a, well, the Zyra classic. Hard farm, get towards the lane on one side of the map, and kill him quickly on that first clear. He chooses to go towards top side, not bot side. However, on the other side, though, Erher, ill-fated all in. Gets punted back by Mako on that Alistair, talking about him as, you know, such a valued player here within the LPL. One of the reasons why, of course, he is popular is because of the international tournaments, but the real big thing for the Shy, just going back towards him, of course, he just died in that last play. He was part of the first team to win win Worlds and break the Korean era of dominance. And he was like the main carry of that team alongside Rookie as well. But the Shy, I think in particular, just he became the icon in terms of like carry top laners. After we had an era of tank top laners within the LPL, the only two carries that were really around in the top lane for the LPL were Flandre in Season 5, and then the Shy really coming in and winning Worlds in Season 8, which kind of revolutionized the top lane carry pool. A lot of people think of LPL top lane now as, oh, well, they all play duelists, they all play carries. That wasn't the case. When Mako and EDG won MSI in 2015, it was off the back of Koro 1, Amazing J, and players like that, playing stuff like the Nautilus top lane, the Urgot top lane, things which are more like fighters, bruisers, tanks, as opposed to like more of the duelists of like the Aurelia, the Akali, the Kayle, stuff like that, which the Shy became very popular for afterwards. The Shy has forever been so very, very flashy. And yeah, the guy has just really gone from popularity to popularity here in the LPL.
Well, I remember when Yorick, we were wondering whether it was going to be a bait pick. Seems like it has been anymore. We've seen a lot of very good Yorick wins. It's not always been perfect. I think the win rate will still be somewhere around the 50% mark, but you can see what the strength of the champion is supposed to be.
Yeah, Jake Dean walked through it, so we'll comment over and Anivia saying, haha, the Shy is popular because he got destroyed by Zeus in the World Finals. Just saying, Zeus' favorite player is the Shy. Now, if you can take it up with him, he loves the Shy, and they practice together, they scrim, they do 1v1s together. A lot of these players which you can paint as rivalries, they often have very good relationships because they've been in the scene and achieving so much, and they learn from each other. Often when you're at the top of your field, you will end up being practicing against each other to learn from the very best, and the Shy and Zeus have done that for many years. Of course, the Shy was all around for a long time before Zeus as well, winning World Championship before Zeus was nearly on the pro scene.
So, what is now the end of game here? It was the end game, really? We're only 6 minutes in, but like...
End of game.
End of game. I said it very Japanese.
End of the game.
Good decimating smash chunk there. Breathe. We'll get that right. Assuming he's gone grass. Can't tell, obviously, because they've got the stacks over the keystone.
We'll check next time he's on screen. You see that little green glow around them when they have the proc ready, and of course you hear it on the sound effect as well. Grass was nice up there with the... Oh yeah, he does that. You can see the you can see very briefly that the green little stack around his arms. So yeah, Breathe has that grasp, which is no surprise. Not really sure why. Yeah, I guess he's gonna ult towards top lane. Gets the hang on. He gets the honey free. Uses the ult. Is he gonna go for a full trade?
I think he might do. It's a bit of a chunk into the Roar of the Slayer and the decimating smash. That's actually a pretty good chunk there onto the Shy. He doesn't have a TP. We'll get this wave largely shoved. Breathe grabs all the waves aggro. Manages to do a fair amount of work then.
Yeah, I was wondering if you wanted to freeze it out, but nope, gonna go for clipping the wave, not hitting the whole wave with that Q actually. I want to see what his full plans are. So he is going to set up a freeze. He's not full clearing it. Kills a couple of minions to clip it. You want a 4 minion advantage to keep a freeze. Any more than that, and it'll push into your turret a little quickly. A little less than that, and it'll be a problem.
What's the Shah on the minimap? Well, initially path towards bot lane, then kind of dither and head straight through his own red side jungle. He's not sure where he wants to go.
Yeah, he is dithering, because I think basically what he realized, like, I don't have flash. If someone comes top lane, I die. What they need, though, at this point, Garlic, you need to reset immediately and run top lane. The wave is going to hit towards that top side turret. The Shy is going towards bot side, but I feel like Gala should have recalled a wave earlier than this to help out the top lane side. It is crashed in now, but they could have... because I believe what will happen now is the wave is going to be held up from Breathe. He can. I actually wonder if he can still get a freeze outside the turret. Gala is going to head up towards that, but I wonder if it should have been a wave earlier. IG, the early swaps, not necessarily their cleanest.
No, we've already said that IG sometimes have a few too many cooks in the kitchen, a few too many ideas on how they want to play the game. And it's hurt them in the past. Remember, there's been some conversations with various members about how they want to play the game. It's been a bit problematic, and it's led to some difficult scenarios when the gameplay isn't as obvious in terms of what you want to be doing on the map. Rub number 1 was just secured by Weibo Gaming. They are currently doing the rest of them. JJ got a little hunting with the Swell Seed, won't quite find it. And a nice attempt there from Mako to try and headbutt into the Swell Seed, but won't quite do it. And all 3 grubs are indeed picked up by Weibo.
Of course, another strength of that Zyra, so good at clearing through them, so that'll be used effectively. I am worried for the Shy. Fallen behind in this early matchup. No grubs to help him out with the split push and pressure, so IG can't. So IG can't. I'm not going to pull the ultimate out. Going forward, healed, blown. Charm lands.
Deadly flourish out as well. Into the double pulverize as well. So good trading, but now I think Mako just can't really go anywhere. And Era just hit the level 6 as well. Valiant effort.
But look at this. Look where the wave is. This was set up by Breathe. It's still in that same position. IG switching a wave late because they didn't see the freeze coming from Breathe means that they fall into this situation. They lose the grubs. They lose the top side kill as well. Weibo, all of this is off of Breathe. Going down to get that honey fruit. Good trade onto the Shy, and then getting that wave control there. Really well played from him. That might escape some people's notice because it's just, it's just a swap or whatever. But Weibo, take one good trade in topside, one good set of wave management, and they make that into a whole series of plays. Breathe, he's not going to be able to do that well in the 1v1 versus the Yorick still. You still don't win that very well. But he's wave clearing out well enough, making sure that the plate doesn't get taken easily here, and he'll do his best.
Decent chunk there. Maiden gets Roar of the Slayer into the turret. Nice from Breathe. And there goes the wife. Can we kill the wife? The answer was yes, you can. JJ going to be on this Scuttle Crab. She better pick this up. Tien is there with Era. Go also around to end. Potentially a 3v3 around this side. Yorick zoning on up towards the top side. Too much there. There go the teleports becoming unleashed. Have their full power.
Why did that sound slightly like as if Palpatine was played by Schwarzenegger? Unlimited power.
Unleashed.
It's treason then.
It's treason then, yeah. Have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Live to power some deem unnatural. There's a really funny. There's a guy. I don't know whether it's a YouTube channel, but I've seen it on TikTok. There's someone who's done like a short series of videos called Mukbone, which is like a guy pretending to be, a Schwarzenegger action movie character, but like it's where all the guns in very much a Bugsy Malone kind of way. All of the guns are instead trombones instead. Like, I'm going to put down the weapon. Just starts firing trombones at people. Oh, it's great. Anyway, go check that out at some point. The Shy finally gets the plate. Hey! Finally! Takes the turret shot for it. Breathe has no mana, but neither does the Shy.
Yeah, I feel like there's the grass proc. It's time to get a fair amount of damage. Try to just get the last rights charge in favor as the Shy tries to speed himself away. It should be okay. Got worried there for a second.
Breathe only has 20 mana. He can't exactly do much for that. The cookies don't give you mana back anymore. They used to. If he'd had that old version, would have had the mana to kill, but of course, that's HP. The Shy, realizes, look, the Sign can't really do that much, can he? Walking up in that lane, and again, Tien's coming over. The Shy choosing to stay around. Has flash, has teleport. If the plant comes through in here, it will cancel the recall. Needs to get in quick, though. The Shy cancels the recall. I wonder if he would have been safe. He's very dead now.
He's going to try his best. Flashes away from the plant for a second with the Stranglethorns come on down. The Dark Procession's nice, but unfortunately Breathe isn't taking aggro.
Blows the flash and dies. No one was helping him in that lane coming over. Tien, of course, on the Zyra. Very good at clear. Hang on a second. Headbutt back, maybe.
Pulverize, headbutt back into the shockwave combo, very clean, and that means a very dead Era who's going to bleed out to the Dream Dust.
Oh, really nice combo maker. Finding the angle to get a full duration of CC. Shockwave afterwards, and Airhead goes down very easily. Shockwave helping combo, using the ult to tank the tower now. Oh, it's a fail flash!
And that's going to be a very dead Xiao who has a lilting lullaby comes on down, and unfortunately for him, that lullaby is the sweet, sweet release of death.
Good response on the other side of the map from IG, losing out in the Yorick matchup, which will be a problem for them. He even teleports in. Sign coming up to wave clear. Dark Procession stops the wave clear coming through, but it doesn't stop Breathe, of course, from turning up to the scene of the crime a little quicker than they can help.
Indeed, they do a fair amount of work there, and that's good work as the pandas are summoned once more. What a horrifying skin.
What, you don't like pandas, Sam?
I think in this context, they're not really pandas. They're like some horrible, twisted version of pandas that become man-eating monstrosities.
Yeah, it's like, sometimes you stop and think about a skin and it just becomes really concerning. Like, obviously, throwing actual just cats at people.
Meowkai is just horrifying.
It's like that. But also, what does Bard do with meeps? What are meeps to Bard? Is Bard like, a meep trafficker? Like,
yeah.
Like, the more I think about Bard, the more it just kind of comes around and is like, hi, I'm picking up these, these wandering people, and I'm going to fling them at people for damage. It gets quite concerning. Rookie's on the weak side of that. There are 3 people here. He switched over to the Ignite from spell, but Rookie will Spot out Tien now. Get some damage down.
Decent trade there with the command attack.
Shockwave?
Distance shockwave. Will that force a flash? It will indeed.
I think that's really well played from Rookie because, you know, Zyra hates playing stuff like Shockwave all the way since Season 3, back when both these champions were meta for, you know, Faker's debut season, and a little after that from
Shockwave
as well.
the support.
Yeah, you just always throw the QW and then Shockwave onto the support because, or in this case the jungle now, but onto the Zyra because Zyra can't protect herself against that. It means that she's no longer in a position to dive. Breathe, once again, wave clearing out as best as he can in this top lane matchup.
As the soul burn is running briefly and it explodes, having not had the shield break, so there's the wave large. The Shy will get back towards his wave and begin to whack it once more. Digit, top side. Doing alright here on this Lilia. Slight lead over to Tien, who's obviously got the early kills. Was one of our foremost Zyra players when that champion was at its zenith. Not exactly bad, but...
yeah, I mean, the thing is, now a lot of her items have also been nerfed. I mean, there's stuff like the... So Rylai's has good stats, but ever since Zyra got changed, that she has less base damage and more AP scaling. Building lower AP items like now Leandri's, which has been nerfed down to 60 AP, rather than, I think it was 70 for a point, and then 65. So it's been nerfed quite a lot in terms of the actual stats it gives you. And then the Rylai's as well, which was very common. Feels kind of crap, so now, what do you go for now? Do you have to go towards something like a Shadow Flame second? Do you want to go... I mean, actually, one thing which I have seen, because I played a game with Zyra recently, I was looking at builds for it. Stuff like Horizon Focus, not that bad for Zyra now, because it's so cheap. But then the problem is, well, it's not the on spell effect damage, like a Riftmaker gives you the Landry stacking, or the Rylai's, which gives you the slow or something like that. Tien's going to walk over, start up the dragon. Jeja had briefly leashed it, which will be forced off of it now. Haven't really seen Xiaohu enter the game that much, besides the failed flash and the death on top side. Because he's losing the push towards the Orianna, won't really be able to do much around the dragon, so both teams back off.
Really wants to pull the trigger right now. First item largely completed. Not done mid lane yet, of course, because there was a tier stop and the boots pick up and stuff, and Trinity Forces and item. All these things, yada 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 yada. Either way, isn't completed right now for the Corki, though. Should be a sheen completion and a bit of gold of that being done. It does mean that, as it stands, no additional item completed, and I feel like as a result, Weibo not as willing to fight right now.
IG, perhaps with that in mind, goes towards the dragon again. Tien does not want to be the first person into River, using the plants to be, you know, pseudo wards. One of the things about Zyra versus, hang on, they're jumping into the pit. Xiao does have Valkyrie, don't manage to steal it. Tien not wanting to, well, can't go overboard, doesn't have that flash. What do they do instead, though? They've done a bit of Safari and get hit by the W.
Era will try and keep people alive with the quickness. The Stranglethorns come on through, but again, they really are just trying to dissuade people coming on in. Already they've lost their jungler. In comes Breather with a wonderful decimating smash. Mako flashes away, doesn't die. Nice combo. JJ now trading out onto Breathe, who doesn't enjoy trading with the Lilia at all. Light, Era, both low, both have to flash. The Dark Possession comes on out.
Tien was the first person into the play again, gets caught an IG pounce. Weibo didn't look for a cross map. They failed to take the fight and lose the dragon. IG, significant advantage now on the red side, which is important given that for some reason blue side just kind of winning everything, especially for Weibo. He's not able to take away that scuttle crab, and IG, big fight for them now. Now we're in the position where Weibo just gave up a lot of gold. They gave up objectives as well. IG have a couple of different win conditions now. One, of course, you can look for the team fights, big shockwave onto the Zyra. Zyra will need a Zhonya's at some point.
Yeah.
But if you're not getting good gold, that can be a problem. Of course, doing well at farming right now is going towards that Rylai's second item. But if you have a Zhonya's here, maybe you can survive the play. Very good combo through here. Lazy positioning by Weibo though. Light and Xiao not in position to follow up. No good damage because the front line wasn't there either. So Tien realistically just should never be there, especially since the dragon's already gone down. Lazy positioning by him. Insult to injury, though they don't even get Mako on the other side of it. But you know, later on, if he has a Zhonya's, maybe you can buy some time. But IG, they can threaten that Zyra, and of course the other win condition, which will become apparent now, is you can give up dragons for split push advantage from the Yorick. No, he's not ahead right now. He's still going to be a threat later on, grubs or no grubs. IG in the strategic advantage now.
Very much so. And again, we have to call out what was happening with that. So we've had a couple objective plays now where people have kind of turned up and really done all that much. Again, tried to come and contest. Xiao blast coned into the back of the pit and had to Valkyrie out. Wasn't really in a great position to fight afterwards. It was all a little bit awkward. The Herald we go. IG starting it up. Yorick split pushing on the other side as Rookie is zoning off with the ball on the other. These spines come on through and IG not as willing to just brute force this play. Gala already got a lot of traps set up in mid lane. One of the reasons why Jhin is actually very obnoxious to deal with is he puts traps down everywhere, and so ganking him is very annoying.
Yeah, it's the Maokai, Shaco, Nidalee, Bushwhack kind of thing, where you get down like half vision. These champions always have extra value in pro play because anything which gives you extra information or pseudo warding potential always becomes more important at a pro play where you can use that information in a more coordinated, effective fashion. Ash Hawkshot also on that list too, stuff like that. So Jhin, 1,000 gold ahead, able to push up, has gone for a bit of the Mosquito build. The Collector into the Sion is going to suck at some point. The Rapid Fire Cannon not exactly helping with that either, but then again, with 4 ranged champions, you need some access to hit them.
Otherwise, walking up from an ortho into a Varus Corki Zyra does sound kind of miserable.
Are all the blue line spot seeds? Not all of them on the map, but yes, Zyra seeds do count on the minimap. You can see them. A lot of them, because it's the Chemtech Rift, a lot of them are extra plants because more plants spawn on the Rift. So a lot of them are that. And also you can see some bits on the map for Infernal when it's the Cinders and stuff like that too. Herald started, peeled off of. IG, you know, not behind a huge amount of gold, but the question is, how do you apply your lead? How do you apply your gold? Something like the poke backs, like this is big. You land another arrow onto Gala and suddenly maybe he can't fight in the same way. Of course, going to still apply he can still use his W and his ultimate. But Weibo, I'm getting quite worried for them now. I don't think they have an answer to the Auric in a side lane. Corki hasn't hit 2 items yet. He's not like as strong as he could be. I just don't see how the team fights work out unless Air has a blinder. He's not had that so far.
They just want to blow the ultimate. Will instead burn the heal. Just get to walk away. The damage is very annoying, and that'll leave Mako at half HP.
Good thing to keep track of here now. I was talking about bemoaning a little bit the state of Zyra itemization. Zyra Varus, though, when you have the Rylai's, the plant obviously very good at tagging people with the slow. It means that it's much harder to dodge something like that Varus arrow. That could be very important later on. You can kind of play double poke composition with the Zyra applying the Scorch Claw and of course the Leandries. Varus hits afterwards, and that does become a bit more of an issue. Breathe trying to take some damage off the maiden, can't kill it though.
Can't quite get on top of that. Gets to run away. IG with a mildly favoured outcome of this game so far, but no, certainly not game-breaking. When Xiao did just cancel his back and Mako is around. I feel like Xiao needs to be a bit wary here. He doesn't know the Alistair's around. Try and get this one out. Just to see that ward go down, I think. Xiao, who you've got to be aware that people are hunting around for you, and he is in fact safe. That ward placement, I think, ended up giving him a little bit of a clue about what's happening. Mid lane. Looking at Gala holding alone. Dragon has just spawned, and it is going to be Weibo who are in the river first.
Breeze's going to look for a second item before this play. Hullbreaker built up for Sion, so it's much more about, you know, empowering his cannon minions. Hullbreaker does give you more team fight value, by the way, folks. Now, every 5th auto attack does extra damage. Pain in the ass. I want to see how much value Weibo get out of their double range, potentially triple range if Corki joins as well composition. Shaku does have teleport. Not going to teleport in quite just yet, though. Herald going to go into the mid lane. I don't think it full kills. It's going to get close, though. Oh, I'm wrong. There it goes. The buffs to the Herald meant that the first charge does a lot more value than it did earlier in the season and, of course, in years past.
Damage there onto the turrets as well, as they do get Corki getting that top side shove as well. Good work there from Xiaohu, but IG in the jungle looking to get the soul point here relatively rapidly. It would also be feats of strength for them, I believe. PTN try and get in there and steal, doesn't want to burn the flash and die for it, so it does end up being IG get themselves to soul point and feats of strength.
Mako, extended flank, blows the flash, realizes that the jig is up. Weibo, give up a dragon, give up the soul point, the Chemtech soul points for side lane farm towers. This time they actually do cross map. My problem is, they probably should have done this for second dragon when they lost the dragon and the fight afterwards. Realistically, you probably should have just been elsewhere on the map. For this one, feels like now by giving over the third dragon, now you're in again a bit of a worry. Because, yeah, now you're against that soul point. I know it's Chemtech, it's not always the most valuable, but when you have extra healing and shielding power from the base Chemtech dragons, a second one there, 6%, that does technically apply towards Yorick's Q heal, which can be a real pain with Orianna's shielding as well. Atakan started up. Weibo tanking the objective. You don't really want to be doing that. They want to be poking. Taking this down for now, though. How good of an engage can IG find?
Looking for sure. down at half HP. Atakan.
But I think IG can now start this now. Half HP on Light and Airhurt. It's been leashed as well. I think they can go towards this. IG Maybe now a little afraid of the poke coming back towards him. But yeah, this has now been leashed, and Weibo maybe have just taken too much damage.
Breed's going to try and step forward, down to 4k HP. TN in the pit, though, and we're going to have a bit of a flip back again. JJ going to turn this one into a smite fight. Secured by Ricard. That's
Spellbook!
But the Lilia comes on down. Spellbook value on the smite. Caught me off guard, certainly caught IG off guard. Fight after, getting ugly as Breed needs to try and back out here. The curtain's being called. Lilting Lullaby has also hit Light as he was hit by the Deadly Flourish, and this makes things very interesting indeed as Light needs to cleanse away, dodging a lot of those shots. Is just about alive, but not very healthy as the Shy behind, keeping them trapped under the turret. There's nowhere to run, it's fish in a barrel, and the Shy will send their last right towards the Morning Mist. Comes on down, sanctifying their ground they lay in, and the Cemetery Keeper ensures there's enough freshly dug holes to put all the bodies in.
IG take the leash on the Atakan to find a fight. Now, they don't get the objective itself, but I don't think they'll care that much about it. They've won every fight in this game so far, and Weibo, I feel like by tanking the Atakan and losing so much HP, they invited this in themselves. They've struggled to play on the macro. They've given up most of the objectives in this game, and yes, they do get the Spellbook Smite to secure this one. I don't think it's going to make them feel that much better. We'll go back into a replay of this. You can see on the bottom half of your screen, Rakan does have the Spellbook Smites. They have the double smite. Both of them come through. They coordinate that, and they get the value through from it. But then, you know, you pulled yourself out of position to look towards that Atakan. You were already low HP from tanking it before the play comes through. Breed is left in 1v4 basically beyond this point. The Shy flashes over the wall to make sure he can get a bit of a flank coming through, and it means they're trapped fish in a barrel.
Nowhere to run with the Shy behind. There's nowhere out. Grubs tanky stuff. Shots keep coming on through. Gala gets to pop some dancing grenades across people, and the Shy hits some bonks on top of Breed and Shouty's heads.
Fourth shot secures that last kill. So as we come back into live, we're getting closer towards the Dragon Spawn. 2 minutes until that. We have an Infinity Edge on Gala now, who picked up so many kills from that last play. He's funded himself the big boomstick after that point. Rookie gets himself the Feet of Strength, upgraded boots, which are very efficient on this patch, particularly the Spellslinger shoes. They give you things like an extra 6 or 8 magic pen, and an extra 7% pen as well, which means that you can get some extra percent pen without having to buy something like a Blighting Jewel as well. Rookie, having a good game so far himself. Weibo, no, but they haven't been able to use their range. They haven't been able to stand up and say, let's just poke out with Rylai's slows and enabling arrows to land from the Varus. They've not really been able to do that. And now suddenly, Varus 2.6 KK, not KK, that'd be a million. 2.6 K behind.
That's the one.
That's the one, as opposed to like kilojoules or whatever, KJ. Yeah, it means that the first poke doesn't really do that much.
And Gala got a quadruple up that last play. Now it's a full Infinity Edge. Not so much of a Mosquito build anymore.
Yeah, he's got the boomstick. So, IG, all you need to do is find another fight. How do they do that? JJ has Flash. Doesn't have the, wasn't bullet yet, the Seekers. Dragging up in less than a minute now. Weibo getting pushed in on bot side. That's not going to help them that much. Baron is available if Weibo wants to start it with the Zyra, I guess. They could say, okay, well, you go towards that Baron. We have the Zyra, we killed it very quickly. Rookie might look for a shockwave instead. The sleep lands!
And they're going to be trapped eating Baron damage. That's just filthy.
Disgusting. Jungler dies just before the dragon spawns by trying to get Baron Vision. This is one of the reasons why AP junglers like the Karthus, the Zyra, the Brand fell out of meta as well too. They're not strong enough to just do tons of damage to you. You pick them up when they go for the warding, and IG say, well, we don't need the dragon now, let's go Baron.
Hit by the singular swell seed, it aggro Baron. Another buy into shockwave and you're dead. That's true of most people, it has to be said. Baron is going to get melted in real time. Taken away, flank angle now, potentially over this wall. Watch for it. Mako looking for the Mega Blast Cone. Can look for the headbutt. Gets Breed into the wall. Not the best target ever. Felt like a good angle, but can't quite get as much value as they're hoping. But there's the flash. Pulverized. Xiaohu going to flash away in trade. Quickness comes down. The curtains are called. Xiaohu needs the Valkyrie out to safety. Not the best angle. Not always Gala's most fantastic options this game, but the damage still done. Breed needs to try and breathe a little bit longer, but unfortunately there is no respirator to keep him up and functioning. He turns into a zombie and they'll pull the plug.
Tien's alive, so there is a smite available for the dragon. Not going to be allowed over there though. Doesn't have a flash to get over the wall if you want to go for some crazy steal attempt. IG, in the last few minutes, basically ever since the second dragon, have taken over this game. Weibo not had an answer to the Yorick, not been able to get ahead in lanes, not been able to play the team fights out either. You needed a certain point to just sit and get some poke down, but they've not been allowed that. IG much better at finding fights, and yeah, Weibo now staring down, potentially losing a blue side game and going down 2-1, match point in the series.
Rookie, got 10 stacks on the Dark Seal, got a Verdant Barrier. How on earth are you picking him up? That's a Phantom Dancer in for Gala. He's not going for the pen build. Doesn't care. The people he wants to kill is anybody but Scion. This means he can glide around a fight with the Fleet Footwork, with the Energize on your Rapid Fire, with the Phantom Dancer. This guy will be so annoying to stop.
And because you're 100% crit, every auto attack gives you that increased speed boost. And with the speed boost from the double Zeal items, you don't escape the Jhin now. And yeah, you will have problem. Hang on a second. Shao, double engage over onto Rookie.
Shockwave onto Xiaohu though. Oh my days, that damage. Swirl Seed lands as well. Lilting Lullaby. He'll be going to a long, long nap. Breed once again on life support. But he isn't doing all that well here. Tries to throw out a decimating smash, and really it's only like a one-part smash. There's no 10 people dying. Anyway, they'll back away as the Maiden does go down. The Shy loses his...
The Senti smash.
The
Centimating smash.
The centimating smash.
Okay, so that will be top bot turret taken down. IG, I think this is the point where they at least break the base. They might break the game here as well. Gala is so strong. One more bit of CC lands, a Jhin W, something like that. The game could just end after this point. Weibo, you have a little bit of wave clear left, but against the Baron buff, that means a lot less. It's a 7,000 gold power play. 7,000 gold power play. One of the largest I've ever seen.
Get so many turrets. They get themselves into a massive position. The curtains are called. Light now in danger, trying to clear the bloody wave. Hit with number 3. Full shot doesn't hurt that much right now with HP bars being a little too high.
Yeah, would have had to hit all of them, I think, to have a threat of a kill. And even, well, sometimes they get surprised by Jhin damage. Not going to be...
Because it's all missing health as well, so the lower you are, the more damage it does.
Now, it used to be the case back in... I think released Jhin, one of the more... unbalanced champions we've seen in League, where it wasn't missing HP damage, so you could build like you'd go Deathfire Touch to like give you extra damage over time and blah blah blah. But you could in late game just Q 4th shot someone and just get a targeted one shot. Absolutely insane. And also when you had like the old Duskblade of Drakthar builds, you'd go towards you would hit someone with all 4 shots, and with the Deathfire Touch like applying to them, you would just kill them. So. Last inhibitor standing is top lane. IG pushing that in. Yeah, the wave clear, I don't think it's going to be enough even with the Baron buff down. Now Tien hit once again. Mako hanging out around the flank. All 5 members of IG on top side here. They really want this turret. I think they'll get it for free.
Will do. Get the Deadly Flourish down. Continuing to throw some autos out. Good work from them. Gala loses half their HP bar, but it's not the end of the world there.
Doesn't do that much damage to the side. He's hitting the one person he actually doesn't do damage during this game. Has a last whisper, so has some extra kill threat onto them, but not nearly as much without a full item completed off of that.
He's fast.
He's very fast. Every auto attack gives him the speed boost. I am the fast, screams Jhin, the old Earth build coming back to fruition. Creed trying to hold a front line, but what can you do? You've got to wave clear the other lanes as well. It's a real pain.
For a champion that is notoriously immobile, Jhin is actually quite frustrating to get a hold of. Gala just keeps Fleet Footwork autoing around, continuing to get some trades on down, gets a massive pop onto Light, cleanses some more. Breed doing his best to hold the line as JJ throws out some blooming blows. The Shy in the backside gets the shockwave after on top of JJ. Breed nowhere to go. Throw out a decimating smash, and instead Gala will execute him. Has a 4th shot. He needs to flash away. My days, Breed does some damage. Does get a little bit of healing there. Is actually they're going maybe a little deep there, folks.
You know what? I don't think they care. Xiaohu's the only member left alive now. Yes, there's a low HP bars. I don't think it will matter.
Take a bow of Xiaohu. The copter goes up into the air and is swiftly shot out by the flat cannon of Gala. IG win a red side game. 10-0-3 is the Jhin, who puts on an orchestral performance for the ages.
The draft's much better in game 2 and 3 for Invictus Gaming. The game 1 didn't really give them much of anything to play around. No CC. And they struggled to capitalize on that. Weibo, blasted in this game. Didn't have sideline options, didn't have team fighting options. Really, they had to poke and they couldn't manage that. IG now hold match point over them. If Weibo were to win the next game, we would go towards a side selection 1v1 to determine our side select for the last game of the series. And Weibo, they have gotten further than they did in that last split.
Agreed.
They did beat JDG. They were in the upper bracket. IG, a love team which came through that round 1 lower bracket, so you would assume they were the weaker team. Not always the case with these two teams. Weibo, notoriously inconsistent. IG on that same level as well. IG playing much better today. If anything, you look at IG losing against BLG, and maybe that's a false flag. BLG, I think, are clearly the best team within the LPL right now. IG losing 0-3 to them, I don't think it actually gave us an accurate representation of the strength of IG. Perhaps they are just stronger than a lot of these other teams in the lower bracket. If they move on from here, who knows how further they could go.
Again, the thing is, we saw what happens in IG Game 1. Sometimes they draft themselves into holes. Sometimes they end up in this position where people are getting caught out, where they're not respecting where people are, where they're clearly pulling in different directions as a team. And that has always been the issue. If they're all on the same page, this team looks absolutely lethal. Rookie, the Shy, Gala, like, this is incredible numbers of players. And if they are all aligned, it looks fantastic. When they're not, things get messy. People start dying as things fall through the cracks. And Weibo, again, another one of those teams who can just look really awful one game and bounce right back the next. These are very resilient and very unpredictable teams, to say the least.
I think Rookie's had a great series. I think Gala in the first game, poor on the Callista, but his MF was exemplary, and this Jhin was disgustingly strong. IG, they're individual. They are a great team when they're all at peak. There are many ways to say the same thing, folks. Both of these teams, it's very hard to predict what's going to come in the next game. Absolutely stay tuned. Absolutely wait to see which version we get in the next game. I need the toilet, so I'm going to go do that.
I'll look up people. Oh, nice. That's very kind of you. You have to stress clean faster. Sorry, Ruby. Our return from events, what happened to IG? Blasted, and I do mean blasted, the side of Weibo in fairly short order. Who cursed my Weibo? Well, yeah, Weibo or Weibo. They do that to themselves. I mean, okay, so in fairness, I don't think TM was doing anything especially wrong there. He actually had people around him, but he was really, really unlucky that the Swell Seed caught him, because the moment the Swell Seed catches him, he is dead. But that was like off vision behind the Baron pit. You think you're safe there. Like, I think that's a bit unfortunate. Again, that's just part and parcel of where the game was. The moment they start falling behind, it becomes very, very tricky. I do think it's a little sad there that the early lead from the Zyra never turned into anything, but I think part of that was Weibo had very poor objective setups, like that dragon fight where TN dies the first time. Not great from the whole of Weibo. This dive was where the game was really broken, though. Because basically everyone dies. They lose the entire team for Atakan. It's an absolute mess. This is after Gala misses, like, every shot. But they are caught onto the turret, right? It's actually a very good flank angle from the Shy as well. So it just becomes nightmarish. Gala doing good work there. Corky's never normally that bad. Like, I don't think Xiaohu, like... There was a bad play where he blast guns into the back of the pit to try and contest Dragon, just not coordinate with the team. It's not... coordinate now. But there we go. I think the other thing is like, I don't know. I think when the moment it fell behind, Weibo were never going to be a team that was ever going to go quietly. They never do. They never do. But influenced by Chovy, Corky, Lamau. She's saying Weibo has a little chance to recover. I think they probably do, because they've got another blue side game. I currently favor IG, I think. However, I refuse to be drawn into a prediction on these teams, because they're both bloody inconsistent in the grand scheme of things. Weibo will get to pick another blue side game. If they win that one, they can get a 1v1 besides that. There is a world where Weibo will get 4 blue side games this game. Mako on the Alistair with the MVP. In fairness, did have some really cool plays. Would I have given it to him? Maybe him or JJ. I think Gala had a pretty good game but missed a lot of shots. In fairness, there were some really sick combos like this, to be fair. I can see it. Would have been him or Gala, I think, for me. Gala did a lot of work on the gym, but the gym wasn't that relevant until way later on. He just followed up on people. Whereas I actually think the Alistair was an absolute menace. Like this entire game. Only dying once this game, despite everything going on, is kind of wild. Like the fact he got away with this one here is obscene to me. By so much time, and then just gets to run away here at the end. I actually think that's not a good play from Mako. He just gets away with absolute murder, is what that is. Mako MVP. Yeah. It was him or Gala, probably. I might do that. Al, quick heads up. I am doing some Super 5 casting this afternoon. Full time visit 3. I can probably squeeze in at least another game, hopefully 2. But we should be alright.
Like, as long, like, I've actually gotten pretty okay with just solo casting if I need to. Like, this stream will always be available to you, Sam, if you wish to come cast. If not, I'll do it. I'll do whatever I wish. Okay, Weibo blue side next. So they get unanimous, sorry. Nice, cool. Let's run some adverts real quick so we can do that thing where we don't get pre-roll, which is nasty for people coming to the channel. Yeah, red see unanimous votes on the whole. So you're saying Weibo has little chance to recover? Well, no, I think that no, absolutely not. No, Weibo are very much a team that shows us very varied gameplay. No, like Weibo, they can look completely different from game to game. So it's very hard to predict them. They will be on blue side again. No, their game 1 was night and day difference to the rest of their compositions. I think they need to get a good jungle matchup for Tien. I think if Tien has a good jungle matchup, I think this game is the series is more than playable. Which level will we on for this? We're up to level 16. Let's wait until chat's back then. So that I want to, because I think we lose probably if we don't have. You answered, brother SSA? Cool. Yeah, it's sometimes a little hard because we have like 3 chats and we're coming and going in breaks because we got to rest our voices and brains. So sometimes we will answer the same comments twice, which is fine. Nice the pride over the fall. You're in luck, Shahu won't get to int with Corky again. I think they cooked too hard with the Corki pick. I think they didn't want the enemy team to have Corki. Corki was very good for their composition, but... Am I excited for KCM Koi later? Hell yeah, I am. Hell yeah, I'm excited for KCM Koi. Like that's deciding our second MSI seed from, participant from the LEC. It's a great rivalry, El Clasico, as opposed to El Clasico. And yeah, it should be really, really good. It should be really, really good. Okay, let's get it on. Get your words on, folks. Hey, Asta, good to see you. Trying to see if there's a second letter as the hidden one. 46 is not a high scoring round. I think H has to be one of them. Oh, this is hard. What the hell? Dunno. Well, we've got completely bodied by this one so far.
通过这两场 BO5 也能看出我们在游戏当中一些细节没做好吧，然后包括和队友的配合上面，中野辅的节奏。
Off topic, have you been to China lately to see some of the matches? No, I've only been to China once, and that was in 2023 summer for summer finals and regionals.
其实要重视一点。我觉得对上 WBG 下路。 这个版本的博弈点是在感觉资源团的地方，然后辅助的视野这方面吧比较重要。
Wait, so we have an extra E.
比拼的是大家的一个心态吧，然后这 BP 的一些调整，然后就是在游戏里面的一些细节。
Oh, we got completely screwed by this one.
现在已经输了一场嘛，然后后面
And it's only 5 letter words too. Oh, sucks.
越走得越远越好吧，然后也能看到大家。
Oh, it was so close at the end. We actually got pretty close to that. Tien on engaged, Tien on sleeper picks. I mean, yeah, Tien is a very good Lilia player too, actually, but obviously that's off the table now. This reminds me of an anime song I used to really like. The opening to Zetsu no Tempest, I think. Okay, so Weibo will be back on blue side. Do they get something like Talia? They don't have Rise Galio. They don't have Aurora. Xiaohu's active champion pool's falling apart a little bit now, actually. What would Xiaohu play? It would be the Talia or the, I mean, he's played a game with LeBlanc, it didn't go well. Ari's gone, Oriana's gone, Azir's gone. Pretty much everything that Xiaohu plays is gone. Maybe the Annie, maybe they fish up, maybe they throw up an early Annie or something like that. Should be getting towards draft soon, so we won't start a new round just yet. Actually, just gonna turn the camera off. I need to rest my eyes a little bit. As in, like. Is he not a good Yone? His Yone is fine, it's just always banned. His Yone is like not great, but yeah. Alright, closer towards that game 4 now. Weibo on elimination point now. IG, if they were to win this, would go through to top 4. And I think when you look at this roster and the project that they have put together, top 4 for IG, I think is the minimum of expectations that they would want. They didn't even reach anywhere close to that in Winter. In Winter, they bombed out in the first round of the lower bracket against BLG. It was a against Top Esports. Against Top Esports, it's a hard situation for them. They're in 7th, 8th. You get 3 places, 4 places below where they would want to see themselves. Shinzao banned away. Really interested in seeing what Xiaohu is going to be prioritized by the side of Weibo. Ornn banned away from the Shy. Suppose that means there's much less tank initiators in the top side. Yeah, I think the Shy. I think Xiaohu is the player who I'm looking at most in terms of champion pool. Nidalee banned away from the Shy as well, opening up potentially maybe Ambessa in top side for Breathe. It's a comfort pick of his. Oh, is there a hydrated? I will get hydrated, don't worry. I will do. Oh, Jay, I didn't see the compliment, by the way. I'm sorry. Okay, Jay, if you're still around, Australians have a good reputation of being friendly, affable people, and you absolutely fit in with that archetype anyway, I'm assuming you're Australian. I hear a lot of good days, so I assume that. But yeah, I think you are a good ambassador of that, I suppose, stereotype. And we're always glad to have you around.
Yeah.
What else were you coming, actually?
What in the middle of a major flight?
Yeah.
Even tuning in there, the dedication alone deserves some
Major
plaudits.
fight was the thing.
A major fight. It was a major
Kai'Sa, first picked away from Gala. Of course, it is an LPL comfort pick, not just Gala's counter pick, but Gala.
Everyone loves that.
Everyone loves it. Gala first and foremost. Neferi gone, Shinzao gone, Pantheon gone, Wukong gone, the early AD skirmishes are gone. I do think that Tian needs a good jungle matchup, and I think that, for me, I think Xiaohu should go towards something like the Annie, you know. I think she needs an initiation option. Yone is available. With the Sejuani locked in, Rookie could go towards the Yone on 3. In fact, well, Rookie could do something cheeky here. He can not pick the Yone and threaten Silas on 3, because he's fine with either. And I think that Xiaohu is a little weak on the Yone. IG, the Jace. Great lane matchup for the Shy. If Breathe goes towards the Ambessa, he's threatened at losing that matchup and not getting value. I still think that Breathe should go towards the Ambessa. It's his best pick left available, and it's one of his best picks in general. Do you need to lock in a jungler right now? The Ambessa's the easy one. They've been setting up for that with their bans of the Ornn and the Nidalee to take away some strong top lane matchups from the Shy. This is the easy lock-in. The hard lock-in is jungle or mid lane right now. Whose champion pool do you dip deeper into? Tian could go towards the Skarner. Xiaohu could go towards something like the Annie. And best of the easy lock-in. And confirmed.
It is indeed. Lots of dive now already. And then things like the Poppy and stuff off the table. A little hard to build your anti-dive comp for Renata as well. Like
Talia ban.
Yeah, I think actually a lot of the tools I would normally go, okay, you can play into this. In fact, like for example, we saw Lost Returns get absolutely blasted drafting a dive comp just the other night. And the tools were there to manage it. This time around I'm looking and going, okay, Sejuani's not bad, but adding in a Silas now to steal the Glacial Prison, Weibo Gummy know how they want to play this game, and it is all in on me.
Yeah. Weibo could have gone towards the Yone. They choose the Silas instead. We were saying that Rookie was potentially calling for his team to play a bit of a mind game, saying we could pick the Yone or the Silas. We will let Weibo take one of them, and we don't have to lock in our mid laner right there. Carly's pretty good into the Silas as well. So the Yone or the Akali options for Rookie. They don't have any magic damage right now, but there's no tanks on the side of Weibo. Yone locked in for Rookie.
I actually want to see Weibo ban the Ziggs now, because Gala does have that in his back pocket. It's a known kind of little bit of a pocket pick for him, and if you already got the poke of the Jace, you can pair that up with the Ziggs poke, and that feels really good. You can look to follow up on the Sejuani ult with the big ult from the Ziggs as well, so I think that probably becomes increasingly sensible as an option here to try and manage.
Yeah, magic damage would be nice somewhere. That being said, Weibo don't have a tank right now, and if IG ban away some tanks from the jungle like that Skarner, it's a little harder to play around full armor stacking against this top side of IG. Their bot side, what would they want to go towards? They can look to crush lane. They could look to crush lane, go towards something like, I don't know, something like a Draven. Gala, I'm trying to remember if Gala even plays any of that anymore. Played it once upon a time, but
it's been a hot minute. How's Gala been playing this split? You remember a lot of things like the Jhin, a lot of time with the Kai'Sa as ever. I wonder whether Senna might be a consideration here, actually. If you're already playing with some of these sort of more top-side focused options, could be pretty good here.
With the Rakan, they do ban that Ziggs, which you were talking about.
Yeah.
Respect paid. Nautilus banned away from air, trying to take away the Kai'Sa Nautilus laning phase. What do IG go towards? The thing is, you could pick in someone like a Senna or an Ashe. You give a very good ult over to the Sylas to steal if you do, but there's only so much you can mitigate that. He already has the Yone and the Sejuani ultimates, which are decent ones. The Braum banned away, which would have been nice against the double melee solo laners of Weibo. Bot lane, the question for IG, what answers do they have? Do they commit towards the full AD composition or not?
So you can look to some of those mage bots. Xayah is up, but the Rakan is down. Be pretty good into a dive comp, to be fair. Between that then and the Glacial Prison and the turnaround with the Fate Sealed, you can try to put down enough mines, so to speak, in the form of feathers and other abilities to make that dive a tricky proposition if you mistime it.
Yeah, as you're saying, the no Rakan makes it a little annoying. Worth noting, though, of course, the Xayah, not a great ult for the Sylas to steal. The Jace one can be a bit awkward as well. You kind of form change, you can occasionally get some good use out of the Jace ultimate as Sylas, but not the best one ever. Weibo need a support, and they need a jungler.
Well, you go with it. Maybe something.
Erha plays this. He does play it. Locks in the set. Great to potentially stop out the Sejuani, but you don't see the lane matchup. This could be a bit of an issue if they lock in something which is a bit more ranged and can punish the set.
I'm wondering whether something like a Milio here might not be bad. We were a little bit with Xayah back in the day. Can end up sort of trying to outrange people a little bit more. You get the cleanse on some of the CC. Can kick away set as he looks to come on in.
And the Trundle makes a lot of sense here. The Trundle into the Sejuani, very good. Can also put that pillar on top of the Xayah and the Jace. You don't have many ways to deal with that slow from long range. Mako, I think the Bard's very good. You want something with a bit of range, something that can not just walk melee range into the sets and get bullied around a little bit. I do like the Bard here.
Not bad call. For all that you, in general, are not a massive Bard fan. For a long time, you didn't own Bard.
And then someone gifted Bard to me, so I had to play the goddamn... Well, not play it, but I had to own the champion. Ugh. The temerity of people to try that. So they do lock in that Bard. Not an LPL specialty, but good here in the draft. IG, their game 1 draft was poor. Their 2, 3, and now 4, I like a lot more. Weibo have a quadruple melee composition into a Sejuani, into a Xayah, into a Bard. This is a very good anti-melee draft from IG. The worry is the Trundle does nasty things to the Sejuani and can push out some of these lower mobility champions like the Xayah and Jace. Push them around a little bit with that pillar. Weibo, they are on survival point now. Elimination point from IG. Winner of this achieves top 4 in LPL Spring, and we'll wait to see the winner of Top Esports WE to see if their journey continues further than that point in the lower bracket. Weibo, tension ratcheting up, importance ratcheting up. Same for IG. They lose this next game, it goes to a 1v1 for side selection for game 5. That's the way things work here in LPL Plus. We do actually have officially sanctioned 1v1s. 1v1 me, bro, on the Howling Abyss if it goes to a game 5, so look forward to that. IG Weibo, two of our most inconsistent teams, fighting off in the battle of the coin flip. Okay, folks, match point coming right up. IG with a chance to move forwards here. Weibo with a chance to bring the series back to even. Erher in game 4 against JDG carried on the sets. If you can do it again here against IG. Crowd mics turned off conspicuously for now. Where are our Gyos? Don't hear them. Interesting. No crowd mics for game 4. No cameras over the crowd either. XC, thank you so much for the sub with the Prime. Always good to see you in chat. And of course the rest of you regulars as well. Always makes our day a little brighter when we see you chatting and enjoying yourselves in chat. Enjoying the LPL as much as we have enjoyed it over the last few years. I've spent a 10th of my life covering the LPL, folks. Since I was, yeah, I'm almost, I mean, I'm turning 29 at the end of this month. Spent 3 years covering it. Cast over 1,000 LPL games, and Weibo have been a big part of that. IG, for most of my tenure in the LPL, have been a middling team within this league. They invested hard, brought back their star players, their solo laners. Tien walking in at the level 1 spotted on a ward. JJ not going to start on this now. Spotted walking away. Good defensive ward from IG. Anyone else able to walk over? No. Everyone fighting for their level 1 wave. No one coming up to join right now. Rookie better wave clear. Level 1 air. Could potentially go for a flash face breaker. That's the danger of the set. Support Gala. Good reactions to flash away. No advantage in the bot side. Tien now afraid of Rookie walking over. Does he know he's on a ward right here? Maybe not. JJ hasn't started with a skill just yet. Spot Tien again. JJ starts with a W, not going towards that E. Guys, it's 2 minutes, 5 seconds, and no one's taken a goddamn camp yet. Tien will walk over towards that blue buff. Bot lane, was no flash on the Xayah. First person to roam in towards the jungle, of course, gets a huge value here. Tien needs to stop this from resetting, and perhaps will do. Tien does not have vision over that side. Q hits from Maker. What did he level up level 2? Was it tunnel to get towards the play earlier, or was it the shrine? Might be very important. Oh, we're fighting with the smite. Tien walking over, Rookie in first.
I went to go get T, and clearly it's been spilled. Shao trading with Rookie on the other side. Get the smite steal away from JJ. It's always dangerous. Mako has to heal. Running away, the passive is proc. Weibo getting the flash out of the bard as well.
JJ having to flash away, does have the smite back up. Tien, though, early invade, trying to get ahead as the Trundle versus the Sejuani, and it was not quick, but he does do it, stealing away 2 camps from the enemy jungle.
A lot of big summoner stolen as well. Mako down all of his, Gala down his own flash, JJ down the flash. It's pretty miserable there on the other side. What a wave event. Some summoners off Era, boohoo. That's about it. That's really not that big a deal.
And Set's going for the Hex Flash. Didn't go Hex Flash the last time he picked out the Set support, by the way. I'm actually not sure if he had the right runes he was playing it now.
That's just so unplanned.
Maybe it's because he's against the double range this time that you absolutely needed to run out of the brush, and perhaps that's a break point when you're against the different melee supports instead. But oh, misses the counter -1 light. Ugh.
Did get a cool route though there, did Gala. I'll give him that. Breathe, going to get eaten alive there, but out to the skies into the thundering blow. Worth noting as well, JJ, I don't know whether you mentioned it while I was getting the tea, has gone towards the spellbook here as Tien's gone for an invade here onto the Rebel, refusing to leave the enemy jungle.
So Tien has taken 3 camps.
They're all enemy camps.
He's taken his Raptors and then 2 enemy camps. He has had, if he takes the red buff, he's taken 3 enemy jungle camps and 1 of his own. This is the shit-eating Trundle. Like, the shit-eating grin is he runs into your side of the map and says, hey, do you want to fight? Breathe, does have flash. He knows his jungle's on top side, but they haven't spotted JJ correctly. Breathe!
On down, needs to get a good flash. Yeah, there is the flash. Can they get in range of the rat, the flail? Missed it, JJ! You've done all the hard work.
Oh, so close. The first part of Sejuani's flail does not apply a slow. Breathe had Doran's shield and I believe a cookie ticking over. He'll be able to teleport in towards topside if he needs to. In fact, feels like he has enough regen. That is a huge missed opportunity for IG to get their topside ahead. A reminder, folks, when Weibo beat JDG, they went down 2-1 and came back in games 4 and 5 to win that series. Dare I say it? History does love to repeat itself every now and then. IG, a golden opportunity to end things out here. But behind in an important jungle matchup could be a huge difference.
Again, credit to JJ for staying alive, trying to make things happen. It's not been easy. Your lanes have all been shoved in. Trundle can just do this with support. There's not a lot really as an individual player you get to do there aside from win that first smite fight. That's the only agency JJ had there.
Gala's switched up towards the top side. In this sort of situation, Bard tends to get more value. 1, because he can, you know, get good mobility across the map. But he also gets value from getting chimes across the map too. Mako, need to see him do something to help out the rest of his team. He appeared mid lane. Bard has not been an LPL specialty in the past. It's actually been more... You know what? NA Bard was pretty good. Of course, LCK being the best region at it, as they are best at
Aframe was one of the best Bards out there, yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. Vulcan, also not a bad player of that team. I'm sure I'm getting many of them crossed on.
When he was a support
a little bit, but I wouldn't call him, you know, the best support in that region, XYZ. He's gone back towards AD carry for reasons. He wasn't bad. But, Tien, the real hero of Weibo in this early game, though. We called it before this draft. Tien needs a good jungle matchup. He's gotten one of the best jungle matchups. Sejuani hates playing into Trundle. Has gone towards that spell because you mentioned before. Might get some extra help on bot side. Hex Flash was not able to get that much. Oh, and maybe able to get a little bit more than I thought. The tunnel sees Mako to safety.
Mabby in chat saying Mako's the only LPL support with the Enchanter license.
Enchanter license, I think, is a little different, because I think Crisp is a wonderful Enchanter.
His engaged support's pretty interesting, yeah.
Well, it depends over time, but I really like Crisp's Lulu and his Renata. They can both be very, very good. But Mako is the best of them. I'll accept that. And that one I won't contest. But yeah, Enchanters in LPL, always a little bit of a harder question. Level 6 hit by Rookie heading down towards the Dragon right now. Tien walking over. I don't think this is a free play for Tien, actually.
He doesn't get hit by the center part of the Haymaker there. Does a decent job of trading back with the hypercharge shots. Tien gets the pillar. The Shy is so dead now. Nice pillar angle from Tien.
You get the smite.
You can try flashing for it. Going to get the smite secure now. The turnaround comes on through. Tien's in danger, but they got the face breaker to make it a bit more interesting. Rookie slides away, though. Makes it a 2-for-1 in the end in favor of Weibo, but they did get the Dragon at IG.
They did. Tien, of course, going forwards, looking for the smite. Couldn't secure it. Jeje taking the initial leash from the Trundle. He will get that kill back. Kill goes over to Rookie on Yone as well, a champion which he's had mixed history on. When he was on top esports, his Yone often okay, but not able to carry that team to success back in 2023, of course, and 2022, I guess, just before that.
Genuinely think one of the watershed moments where some of our top LPL mid laners stopped being consistently top was when Yone became a de facto you must play this pick, and actually your rookies and your Xiaohus and to an extent your scouts just weren't quite as consistent on that champion versus some of our other mids.
Yeah, I think definitely LCK overtook on the Yone. I think that players like Knight have gotten better at it over time. I think that scouts had some great, they went through the Swiss stage of Worlds Undefeated partly due to that. This is the Trundle pillar into Jace, which we talked about before. Tien getting good value. Of course, after that, going a little too far. Back into live now, and that pillar has found another victim. Mako burning a flash, tunneling out to safety.
Good work from Tien, finding a bit more advantage this time as Rookie does find a decent Q3 there, threatening quite well. Tien will eat a bit of damage. Blue buff not going to quite reset and should get stolen away as again they just continue to try and attack Jeje.
Yeah, really annoying playing the Yone into the Trundle because he chomps you and you lose 40 AD at max rank, which is really nasty. The gold swing of that amount of gold is like 2,600, by the way. You can lose a BF sword, he gains a BF sword. It's nasty. So Rookie, not getting as much value there. Of course, only level 6 at this point, at the maximum rank. Grub started up. IG behind a significant amount for this point in the game. Shy going to be helping Jeje take the first part of this breed. Walking over, could delay a little bit.
Just be a bit worried though, just breathe, because again, Jace, with his hammer form, is very good melee synergy with the Sejuani, so do keep your eyes on that one. You have to be a little careful about overstepping here. Breathe gets to the skied by the Shy, and Breathe goes, that was uncomfortable, backs away a little bit, and the grubs are secured by Invictus Gaming. They get both sets of early objectives. Also note, when we saw Light and Era trying to return to mid lane, really good cosmic binding and zoning actually cost Light about half a wave for a full wave there in mid lane as well.
YG managed to claw back good amount of that gold lead, as we were just talking about. I think it was difficult to play around that this early into the game. Good to see them take some micro advantages. The objectives, of course, good prize. Tien on top side. Again, just being the gremlin in the jungle. Trundle, the king of those. There is flash left up on Jace now.
Maybe forced to burn, but like to go to the skies and then try and thundering blow someone back. There's the pillar. Finally feels like he can burn away. Does get out alive, but the summoner was popped.
Yeah, Shy holding onto his flash, knowing that if he flashes and then the pillar comes in, he dies.
Dead,
has to flash the other side of it. Does lose the summoner, but he'll be happy to at least escape that. Does have the teleport to get back towards lane. Not the biggest loss for him. Could have been much worse.
That it could. Rookie sliding through that wave well enough. Xiaohu here, matching the kills at least on this Xiaohu Silas. intermittently very dangerous.
Do I remember Cream Yone Game 3 versus BLG? I do. However, Cream is actually one of our best Yones as well. I think what happened really is Cream just tilted off the face of the planet.
Yeah,
and got a little bit exposed. But let's be honest, playing badly versus Knight is a thing that every single LPL mid laner has done at some point. Even Yago, one of those people who just somehow managed to have good record versus him, and toward the end of his career got absolutely blasted by Knight, as many people have. Very few mid laners have managed to survive. But it really is kind of someone like Chovy really that's managed to escape the Knight's demolition over time.
Partly why something say like that last World Final was so much fun, because Faker and Knight were going hammer and tongs at each other.
Yeah. If you go back and watch games 1 through 3, particularly in World Finals, Knight was bodying Faker. It was in laning phase and early lane. It's one of the reasons why BLG, well, let's be honest, BLG get nowhere close to that World Finals if Knight is not playing as well as he did. It was a fantastic tournament. But bringing it back to the conversation of LPL mid laners, players like Xiaohu and Rookie, they have had to see their crown be taken from them by the likes of Knight and other players of his caliber, of course. Well, I say other players of his caliber, there are very few of that. But like other people like coming in towards that fray, right? Rookie and Xiaohu, it feels like their era where they were uncontested dominance between the two of them in mid lane, them and of course Scout as well. That's over now. You have to get through Knight. It's been such a difficult conversation topic to broach for them. Breathe going to wave there on top side, but not really much for him to be.
Has to run away. The Tempered Fate catches him. Oh, it's T1 barred as well. That's just salt in the wound. Breathe just about sliding away there. He'll get out to safety, but had to burn the flash. How much further can Rookie go? They heal to make it happen as Breathe goes in, and it's not quite enough. He does go down.
Yeah, Mako's the one that takes aggro, which means that the CC onto the Shy matters less. Breathe, an extended escape does delay. What that does mean is that Silas has to hit the bot side. Remember, they have the 3 grubs. They'll still get plates, but the plate comes in.
Gala, is it here? JJ interrupting light means no easy route in. The Shy, I think, is going to try and execute someone. Where does Mako go? He's going to die. Oh, IG, how has this one worked out? Rookie
uses a little bit of some mobility, but the W pinging from the Kai'Sa means it's not just one dead, likely 2. Rookie dies. It's a solo kill from somehow also the Shy dies because Tien gets a kill there. So 2 solo kills, 3 I think as well actually. So 3 different members of Weibo getting 3 different solo kills to clean up the play.
He spends so long diving that Xiaohu gets a TP in and people respawn and come back in. It ends up being, in the end, a 3-for-1, a horrible mess.
IG, of course, trying to use their 3 grubs during this play to get some value onto Taz, and they do get plates on top and mid lane, but giving up that amount of gold, not awesome. The individual gold over to Light now on the Kai'Sa. That's a problem. I look at this team from IG. This is definitely a team which can be shredded by a Kai'Sa if someone is out of position. The Shy ahead 1,000 gold. Yes, he's doing fine, but this composition does punish a Jace very heavily. Trundle Pillar, Ambessa ult, follow up with either Silas or Kai'Sa. Not something that will be easy for the Shy to play through. He will have to be very, very on point with his positioning, or at least buy so much time and or cooldowns that the rest of his team can clean up and get value from it. Tien on the Dragon.
Towards the Dragon they go. We get a shock blast down there onto Tien, who does eat a bit more damage. Continue trying to chunk out as many things as they can here and get some good value in and where it's available. Gala gets pulled back by the face breaker into the haymaker, but the Tempered Fate falls the flashes as JJ ends up caught in it, unfortunately.
Oh, Shy.
And that's after Shy in a 1v2 as they try to split the play.
Just saying, hang on. Ult stolen in topside Xiaohu, 1v1ing his old rival in Rookie.
Oh, nice rebinding of the Assault. Will turn that one around well enough. Chain Lash comes on through Rookie. He's going to be forced to back away on that one, and the Dragon secured there is a little bit unfortunate in that team fight from Invictus Game.
The Shy's positioning must be so pinpoint right there. He's trying to be a part of the play, but he's on a flank so separated that IG can't save him from top jungle. Another great pillar tunnel through this time, but Gala can't escape.
Can get in, but does get a good route. Well, barrier as well. Both summoners now blown. Doesn't blow the ult, interestingly.
Yeah, Light chooses not to follow up and trade ult for ults. Pillars from Tien have been great. His Trundle has been excellent from when we've seen it. Tien, a man on a mission here for Weibo. Top lane turret for Xiaohu as he won out the trade against Rookie. 1,000 gold up now on the Yone.
30 CS up as well after a couple deaths now from Rookie. Or at least a couple forced back. Got to clear some of that in the bot side at the very least, so it won't be quite as egregious as it looks right now, but still a bit frustrating for this unit that have been having some good moments before the last 5 minutes or so, where some of the team play has caught them out. Nice chunk there from Rookie. Trades well. Going to get him buffered back. Rebinds the soul. Looking to get onto Breathe. Everyone is down here. Another Q3 comes on through. Comes on through. Into a wonderful face breaker. Shirjay's staying alive for a second, but Yone is already dead. They lose the jungler. The Shy is TP'd in, but it's now a 2v3 for the Skies to go as Light will flash to the other side. So go and get forced back to the turret. Flash away from Mako. Buys him die. The Haymaker lands, but overcomes Gala. Looking to remember, he doesn't have a flash or a barrier. And there is Xiaohu. And they get another Weibo. Just cleaner on the collapses again.
And they're going to die under the turret. Xiaohu can reset aggro with the Xayah ultimate. He's going to go in and just use it for the kill. Double over towards Xiaohu as the Shy. Oh, the Shy, you are in a big amount of danger.
Tries to clear the wave and dies for it. No way out. Goes out in an honourable fashion. 4,000 gold lead to Weibo Gaming, who brutalised the bot side fight.
IG took a 3-kill advantage in the top side a little earlier, but that's the only kills that they've had. They've not been able to clean up anything else. Weibo really, through this Trundle, have given IG hell. Tien got ahead from the early clear, continually putting Trundle pillars onto the people out of position, like the immobile Jace. And the Shy, it's a hard draft for him to play out. IG, I thought this draft was going to be a little easier to play out, but with Trundle getting so far ahead, with the Silas able to keep the Yone at bay as well, it's been very hard for IG to have a single platform anyway. Look at this, they're trying to farm 3 lanes. They send their jungle support down towards bot side, but so does Weibo as well. They send the same people. Rookie largely losing out in the 1v1. Yes, they do end up getting themselves at that first kill, but flash ultimate, triple face breaker. Kai'Sa comes into the play with the semi-global. The teleport is too late. Much quicker on the trigger, and the roam will Weibo.
More damage as we see the replay. Xiaohu comes back on over with the Hex Gates, gets on into the picture-in-picture. The Shy's in danger, avoids the public execution, but the pillar still comes on down regardless, and there's nowhere to run. Has got a flash, doesn't burn it. Where do you go? He's 1 and 5 now on this Jace.
It's a hard draft to play. Yes, the Silas will die. That's an important kill over on the other side. Xiaohu getting shut down. Good gold over to IG. What's happening with their objectives? Nothing up right now, which means that Breathe is free to push in here. They don't have any grubs, which makes it harder to play around that. Hang on, Air's now caught out too as well. Not a bad face breaker, but he'll definitely die here. Trying to walk forwards for a face breaker. Problem with Set though, once you run out of summoner's mobility, easy kills over there. Jerje gets a ton of gold. He was behind almost an extra 1,000 gold ahead of this. Weibo give over another 2 kills and their shutdowns too. IG pouring back something. Mid lane turret now focused by Weibo. They'll take an objective too. IG finding their first kill since that top lane fracker. Xiaohu, I guess not expecting Jerje to come through. Melee synergy. Steals himself the Sejuani ultimate. Does throw it into melee range, just not enough really. Erha came around on that on the roam. Not able to be there in time. Now in a minute until Dragon. Will be second Dragon free of the team.
Gold lead. Being at 3,500 gold is pretty significant, it has to be said. The scary parts, that's into the Kai'Sa and into the Silas, who are well and truly in a fantastic position this game. Ironically, the Shy, because of the fact he might get a lot of turret plays and a lot of farm, is still largely even with the Ambassador. He's not really been involved in any of the kills against the Shy.
No, and I have to say, look, the Shy, he has positioned quite disrespectfully in the late game, but it is a very difficult draft to play the Jace. If the enemy team throws a Trundle Pillar at you, not much you can do except hope your team is in position to bail you out. So the question is really, why is he positioning in the way that he does so far away from the rest of his team? IG must be in position to save their Jace, otherwise he will get taken down very, very easily in the way that he has done just before. There's 20 seconds till Dragon now. Neither team actually positioning for a contest. They're on the top side of the map instead. I think both teams realize, aha, objective is spotting. They'll never expect us to make a play on the other side of the map, except they have done.
Look for something more. Good chunk there onto Breathe, who does now eat a lot of damage. Doesn't quite get hit by the permafrost though, which would have been a nice chunk. Rookie pretty low here. Still trying to keep running on out. Doesn't have the flash. Public execution after flash, but well buffered through-ish by the Fate Seal. But the Showstopper comes on through. The Tempered Fate does by a fair amount of time. Will allow a lot of things to wear him out. The Redemption comes on through. Rookie finally falls. Xiaohu goes golden. Permafrost not quite triggered. But they try to keep people alive and just can't do it.
IG, they choose not to pull the trigger on the teleport from the Jace. Herald Tubman's topside, that will be the inner turret going down, and perhaps a Trundle Pillar will make things interesting too. On the other side, the Shy using the 3 grubs.
For the chomp, he's now quite deep. Glacial Prison afterwards, can't quite kill him. Gala flashing away, the barrier comes on down. Oh, the sky binding! It's glorious. Into the backline goes Light with the killer instinct, trying to cleanse away, but he needs to run further. Flash away into the Herald. He's gonna get out. Absolute siege. Tien's still here. The Shy is TP'd in. Will Shock Blast one? How much further can Light get out? He's on no HP and somehow escaped with the Herald. That is unbelievable.
The getaway driver once again. LPL has made a bit of a habit of using the Herald as an escape vehicle. The Shy, however, during all of this, still gets that bot lane turret. What a series of mechanical plays across that last fight. Airher, not a bad ult coming through, but Mako's contribution in that play was absolutely sublime. Makes that a play absolutely playable as opposed to what it was before. Dragon is still up and available. Both teams could potentially angle towards that. The Shy getting another turret on top side. Got a kill there as well. Of course, onto, I believe it was Tien in the back end of the play. Gets both side lane out of turrets and is suddenly 2,000 gold ahead.
That's pretty wild. Let's have a look at this again, because this play was mental. I thought Weibo had lost their minds.
Yeah, it's flash for the Chomp, steals some AD. Doesn't have the pillar just yet. Lots of CC coming down onto him. Gala, lucky to get out for as long as he did. You know, Light, yes, does end up cleaning up the fight. I think that wouldn't have happened either way, really. It's just whether he would have given his life for it. The Herald comes down. How he survives this is
28 HP.
Insane. You know, the Shy tries to see if he can kill the Herald. The eye doesn't open up in the back. It only opens up now, though. I think that might have been able to give him the kill. Not able to do so. Shy only able to get the one kill, but as we said, 2 turrets and the kill gets him towards a 2.5 item.
Important that makes this Jace quite scary now. They'll look to play around this Dragon. It's not the end of the world if they give this one up, honestly, IG. They can afford to wait a little bit longer. JJ has now got the Randuins as well. You've got 2 items. Largely everywhere but Rookie.
Yeah, so Dragon goes down. They don't have teleports, though, which means that that gold lead on the Jace is not there right now. They need to avoid a fight until he can get back into position. I think what Jace should do is maybe push up mid lane, get one more wave there, and see if they can get towards the Atakan, unless they want to contest this. They don't really have the vision for this, though.
Giving up 2 objectives kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. They have no way to put wards down very easy, and it is just gone. Would have been very challenging. I think that is the way. They're going to potentially come and get Mako there, who will cancel the reset briefly, but isn't caught out.
I think Weibo were, you know, angling around, you know, Ambassador ultimate, Light over the top, especially if Jace isn't immediately there. Someone dies before the play comes through. This is why, if you've tuned into our streams before, you'll have heard us talking a lot about globals and how they are very important because they're quicker than a teleport. You know, even if the Shy had a teleport there or could roam down, the fight would be over before that move would complete. If you have something like a Kai'Sa, you get to join in on the play and make a quick pick. But ever since teleport was slowed down heading into this year, it has felt like globals have gained more power because they are just that much quicker at responding to players jumping forwards. Still got a significant lead himself. Rookie not really been able to get that much value out of the Yone this game. He can get a big monster combo later on. IG very much hinging around the fact that the Shy has a gold lead. Hopefully he can get some poke down before he gets caught out by Trundle.
My work here is done. Rookie eats some Qs. Try and trade this one back-ish.
Breathe can ult him.
He's got JJ coming down. That's why they're trying to do it. They're trying to keep Breathe interested. Misses the Mortal Steel part 3. Public Execution in. Still has the flash to work with and the fate sealed. So it's always going to be a hard wasp for the side of Breathe, who keeps looking forward, rebinds the soul. Nicely done by Rookie. Even from the deficit, Breathe will likely just die here to the feathers. Deadly Plumage does its work.
Fancy footwork from Rookie. They layer the CC, keep Rookie out of melee range, and keep him alive. So Breathe goes down. He'll lose himself some more gold because he's not there to pick up farm. However, Weibo will be able to push in both other lanes and deny some farm from IG.
Rookie finally has the Immortal Shield Bow, gets that off that pick, which is very important. Can now head topside and get a little bit safer into this. I was going to say Sejuani, but Silas is the name of that one. Looking to see whether we can find something there. Can't quite, but that's okay. There's scaling into the game of the Oni, who will eventually become quite scary in his own right, just not right now.
How did Tien go from, 2,000 gold ahead to 400 gold ahead to 2,000 gold ahead again? I guess he was all of the tower kill participation that he got involved with. Jeje, I mean, if he hadn't got those shutdowns earlier in the game, he'd be actually close to like 3,000 gold behind, which is an insane stat. I know it's a bad jungle matchup, but falling behind like that is
it's rough,
terrifying.
He's down about 56, and again, a lot of that's off the early shove as well. There's lots of things going on in there. And in fairness, you are a Sejuani. You're in an okay spot this game. You've got your 2.5 items. There are worse places to be as a Sejuani still.
Which team has better scaling? Really depends where the fight happens.
Yeah.
If it's a split fight, I really think that Weibo had better advantages. I think that the Silas, the Ambassador, the Kai'Sa, they follow up on a fight much more quickly than a Jace can do, or a Zyra in that case too. However, if it's front to back, and if it's front to back, I think IG have more tools to deal with, especially if it's a slower fight with multiple shock blasts being able to chunk out some extra HP bars.
And if Weibo hear the call of Leroy, if they hear the call of the Jenkins, if they all decide now is the time
second
to
only
use
to the call of the Cthulhu.
Exactly, yeah. And they start screaming and blindly ult in, you can end up diving into Tempered Fates, into Feathers, into Glacial Prisons, and all those things. In fact, we nearly saw it around that inhibitor, right? Like, there are tools there to really punish that if Weibo are too cavalier in their engages.
A good point in chat as well. We talked about this in Champion Select, but it's not necessarily become as relevant. Trundle is unkillable with full armor. That's definitely a factor. IG are a full physical damage team. However, that doesn't apply to the Kaiser. It doesn't really apply towards the Silas either. Yes, he has the Zonias, but it's not that much difference. Tien does have Flash. Might be forced to use it. Nah, who am I kidding? It's Trundle. He'll walk forwards and fight.
Permafrost, the Void Seeker does land there onto Gala.
A couple of them have landed now. Scary stuff. Dragon now in 40 seconds. IG do not want to give a soul point over to Weibo. Wouldn't be the soul stuff. They can technically afford to get one more. How much value can the Shy get? He needs to get some poke. Has the Serpent's Fang to deny some shield value.
Trying to jump on the Breed here. Shock Blast straight on top of Breed, and now he's in a lot of danger. The Q3 goes wide. Public Execution is also wide. Ends up being an ult burn for just the E cooldown on the owner.
If he'd hit that, I think Xiaohu could have followed up with an E. Dragon now up in 20 seconds. Breathe doesn't have teleport to come back to the play quickly.
Hex Gates, though.
Hex Gates do help. You're absolutely right. Definitely something to keep in mind. Dragon up now in 10 seconds, and yes, Baron is available.
There's the Trundle top side trying to get a hold of that Scuttle Crab. They don't know he's there, but does that mean they're going to try and rush the Dragon on timer? This gets a bit interesting.
No, it's there now. They'll always seen that burst of vision. Of course, Weibo can give over a Dragon, give it 2 for 2. They can 2-man it. Trundle can definitely tank this for a long time. Has a lot of armor to keep this. Jeje is over the wall. They blue trinket it. On the other side, the solo laners, both with teleport taking Dragon.
It's not being taken quite fast enough. I think they feel like they can walk. They have another wall. No, they don't.
Steal. Get it in! The ultimate!
Can they buy it? It's going to be a fire! He gets it! JJ is the absolute king of thieves! Another steal for the man in the jungle for Invictus Gaming.
Jeje wins those. Another clutch late game smite. One thing you can always count on is Jeje's smite key.
Just never let him in the pit. He does it again. He can't keep getting away with it. Yeah, he does. The Shy will flash away. He needs to be a bit wary of Tien getting a run at him. Is on the frozen domain. Tien has to flash out, gets too hypey, looking to get something back in the game. Breathe and Xiao Hu now here. The hijack Glacial Prison. Can't find a good angle though, and they will magical journey away. Baron buff circling their bodies.
I can't believe Jeje does it again. I can't believe that Weibo let them get away with that. Weibo choose not to fight around the Dragon, but they just don't understand how quickly it will go down to both Jace and Yone both taking it. It's very rare to see both solo laners taking the Dragon and then teleport up. Normally you only move one person down to that Dragon to then teleport up. Happens this way though. Jeje, helped by the fact that the Bard ult comes through, I think it just throws everything into panic stations. No, basically, it goes down so low. 10,000, 1090, that is a low, that is a very high amount of HP for a smite. Typically an extra auto will take it down into that kind of range. Can be really spooky. The Bard ult throwing Weibo off their rhythm. If you are trying to sit in the pit and you are the one taking the Baron, so often you are the ones to lose it when things get a bit chaotic.
Both TPs were burned there as well. Mako gets that turret in mid lane. It's only the third turret of the game for Invictus Gaming. The gold is now in IG's favor.
IG have a gold lead. IG have a gold lead. The Shy is the grand majority of their piggy bank, but they do get themselves a Dragon, they get themselves the Baron, and now suddenly Weibo, they can't push in across the map in the way that they want. Let's not walk into that, folks.
Tien, I'm not sure about that one. Glacial Prison lands, hasn't yet to be able to press the Subjugate key. Cosmic Binding afterwards. Tempered Fate lands on down, but that's he put Jeje in a difficult position. Has got a Ghost to roll with if he needs to. I apologize, it's a TP. I'm getting confused by the Smite, the Summon a Spellbook on the Sejuani, confuzzling me for a second or two. Yeah. The dizziness ends for a second.
Not the best well, that was the Silas Temper Fate, which helped out with that, of course. And Mega still has his own. I was like, well, why would he cast it there? It was Xiaohu which stole it beforehand. I'd missed that one. Shock Blast landing. The Shy using some of his gold lead now, and the 3 grows making it much easier to take the turrets.
Frozen Domain required there. Tien, just enough move speed to get out, or he would have been in serious trouble.
Yeah, I see some confusion in chat as well. I also thought Mako was inting. It wasn't him. It was Xiaohu saving his own jungler with the stolen Tempered Fate. IG walk away 4,000 Baron power plate, getting themselves a lot more even across the board. Silas no longer with a almost 2,000 gold lead himself. Rookie's managed to make himself up a lot of gold there. Remember, folks, this is elimination point for Weibo. If Weibo lose to a Jeje patented Baron steal in a game they were in so far in advantage of, they will be kicking themselves.
A 2 and 5 Jace is 2.6k ahead of the Ambassador on the other side. And don't get me wrong, I think the Shy has actually largely played this game pretty okay. It's just Weibo had been better on the collapse, and the Shy has been the target. It's been quite hard to play around, but this is the threat of giving this guy enough side lane pressure.
Guard seen on vision. Will spot out Tian on that side. I don't think he spots anyone else. I think they were just outside of the vision radius there. Weibo playing smoke and mirrors, and they kind of have to. They kind of have to play that smoke and mirrors. Hard for them to take up straight up fights now, I think, now that they are behind in gold. Typically, I'd say, well, you know, the Trundle gets a lot of value. This is what I thought might happen later into, in the draft when I saw it. This is what I thought might happen in this game. Of course, Tian had such a good advantage early on, played the early jungle pattern so well. I think, largely, Tian has been the better jungler today, even. All things said and done, even though they might be going out 1 and 3, he has been very, very good. A man on a mission. IG, though, ahead in the game now, and all that effort might be for naught.
It's certainly a consideration, because I will, again, give credit to JJ. This has been a miserable game to play Sejuani, and actually, considering that, the triage play, so to speak, just trying to stem the bleeding, has been pretty solid from the Sejuani. That's that gold lead drop. That's a 5k swing.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Dragon now up in 30 seconds. No soul point for anyone. It would only be the... so it's not threat of soul for the next one. IG, remember, they still absolutely can lose fights. I think what will be particularly important to Shine not having flash if there is a good enough Abscond Abduct, Public Execution, Trundle Pillar onto the Shy. A lot of the gold goes with it. He doesn't have his Cyrildas built up just yet. He's not going to be completely hammering down on the Trundle. Dragon spawning now.
He needs to be a little wary, but it's all well and good.
Belt used to block the Celestial opposition. Walking into the river, Dragon started.
Eyes on Rookie as well. He just picked up an Infinity Edge, has managed to basically...
The Shy needs to be so careful. The Shy needs to be so careful. Here we go.
Has to dodge quite a lot. Ura trying to speed himself up, but that acceleration gate and the footwork is phenomenal. Now in a 4v3 on the other side. Damage being done. Dragon still started up by Rookie, who is managing to stack the Q3. Shove back into the massive, massive Showmaker. They'll try and make them battle as the Fate Seal comes on through. Damage back is solid. Trying to get a hold of the set, but there's still doing a lot of damage as Rookie goes back into the base. So down low. They're winning the play. Look at the Shy who's still alive to the end. Finally rooted up. Doing some work as he gets the Permafrost stacked on top of the Shy very low. Not going to get any more value as the Cosmic Drive comes on through. Rookie is resetting. They killed Gala, but somehow the rest of IG survive.
Weibo, get the Dragon. That could have been the play they needed. Teleport back in. They're trying to complete the play.
Back step from Breathe. Will now begin to Drakehound step away. Pillar does not keep JJ out necessarily, but they can't get the last two members.
Tian is very hard to kill. He is very, very hard to kill. It's the reason why they walk away with more people alive at the end of that. Even with that, Weibo could have, I think, slam dunked this game. I think if they manage to get that pick onto the Shy, that could be enough kills that they could end the game, maybe. God, Death Time is getting spooky at this point in the game, but they missed that initial pick. Teleport's now back out onto the map. Breathe trying to push up on top side. Afraid the Baron's getting started. In fact, it might be. JJ walking over. Tien is alive. Baron hasn't been started. Teleport's just to push waves.
That is a 4-item Jace versus a 2-item Ambess. I don't even think the Ambess has played that badly. She's just not been involved in anything.
Yeah, she's been tried to, of course. Breathe, try and get that public execution. It is his best champion, I think, in recent days. IG not able to get a quick revenge Baron for the Dragon going over. Weibo behind a little bit in gold, but oh man, how powerful is this Trundle? Has the ultimate up again, level 16, will steal so many resists from JJ. It's going down, it's gone.
There we go, Tien now potentially at the front line has thrown down subject available. The perfect public execution of the backside gets breathed on him, but the other side, Rookie with the Fate Seal. Tempered Fate after leaves people in a really tricky position. Xiao needs to get away, has still got the hijack Fate Seal. Ura gets a face break in front of by time for his team, is in danger. Flash to the skies onto Tien. The magical journey. Hello, Troll, with the rest of the team. IG go on forward and claim that one. Xiao who's clearing the wave to prevent the Baron shove.
Xiaohu trying to take a wave to make sure that the game doesn't end here. Needs to E over the wall. Does he have a quick reset? I think he does just about. Won't have that interrupted. Weibo lose the Baron and lose 3 members. He'll get the recall in time. He'll get it in time. He's safe. He's out. Didn't put that shock blast down. Xiaohu gets out safely.
Got very worried there because the Shy had read it right. Just doesn't quite find him. All the while the Rookie playing on the other side here will get a hold of this tier 2. Swing, 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 swing. And murders that one down.
He gets that top lane inner. The rest of the team gets the mid lane inner. Weibo on elimination point. Had a gold lead this game. Blue side, their beloved blue side. Not been enough to save them this series. Now down over 7,000 gold. 5,000 Baron power play to the side of IG. A similarly good one to the one they had before. Dragon got taken, Baron's got taken so quickly. Melee synergy with Juan getting great objective damage. Solo dive in from the Breathe, not comboed up with everyone. Ends in a 1v3 on the other side. Rookie, double ultimate. Great value from him on that Fate Sealed. Rookie been waiting to impact this game a little more. Finally gets a chance to do it there.
Aura tries to drive Rookie away, but he's already got his soul bound. So it doesn't really do all that much. I feel like the set value earlier was fantastic. Has struggled in these last few fights to truly get on top of people. And I think Weibo's gaming lack of range is beginning to hurt them a little bit.
Shy is ahead. 4.4 thousand gold.
He's back to a positive KDA. He's 555.
That's insane. And look, he was at 1-5, folks. This is a very difficult game for the Jace to play, and he was punished accordingly. Weibo played their composition to punish the Jace, and it worked well. However, haven't been able to do that for forever. He's now almost full build. He's going to be almost 2 items over Breathe, an item and a half with that amount of gold. And IG, they might just have clutched it through JJ's Smite Keep, through the Baron Steel. IG caught a little bit there. Stolen Temper Fate, not enough.
Trying to buy some time. Xiaohu looking for the playmaking. The King of Spring about to be dethroned. Another Temper Fate, showing them exactly how his own arrow will show stopper to the backside. Gala goes up into the air. Featherfall, flash, Mako alive, redemption and heal. Into the backside goes Xiao, trying to get some value. He does get some. He goes golden to the backside. Gala throwing out as many feathers as he can. Xiaohu up into the air with the stolen, the hijacked Feather Storm, but the feathers won't give him the wings. Homo Fugue. The wings melt off Icarus. Hits the dirt. Weibo are going home. IG have done it. Breathe, and Tien must hold the line against 3. Desperation as the Baron minions crash, fall into the turrets. 1 down. Permafrost, and on ice goes the Troll. Ice in his veins. His natural habitat looking too much, even for him.
IG, so long they have gone without results, will finally return to top 4 in the LPL. They will await the winner of Top Esports and WE. The super team, knocked out in the first round of winter, moved to top 4 in spring.
They call it Keynote for a reason. IG will never give you boring games. The heart attacks can finally cease, at least for a moment. Elation for the Invictus Gaming fans. Weibo, valiant efforts. What a run through playoffs they had in their own right. They took some big scalps, but today they just weren't quite enough.
This is the first time IG have returned to the top 4 since spring 2020. 5 years in waiting have IG waited to get towards this parallel again. They won their first title, of course, in spring 2019, putting themselves on a trajectory to at least contest. Was it the cleanest? No, but they're still in the game. Weibo will leave the stage after a crushing blow to JDG and their hopes, coming into the higher bracket, but not able to continue their journey past this point.
It's not just Invictus Gaming who are making it to that kind of point. Reminder, where has Rookie been over these last few years? When was the last time he made an international tournament? Might well have been on Invictus Gaming if you do the maths. Finally reunited, and what a game and what a series he had as well. Good recovery there on the Yone and IG. They will never be a team you can fully rely on, but my God, can you never count them out.
IG, this is, look, if you are one of the old IG fans that stuck around and really were in their corner for all these years, this is the payment for supporting this team that long. This is a team which has not seen top 4 in half a decade. Half a decade. Now, Weibo, they are an inconsistent team, and I think today they showed some of their low sides. I also think they showed some of their upsides. I think Tien had an excellent series today on that Trundle, as well as the Wukong. I think that Tien will be walking away from this stage feeling a little bit lost. It's a shame to see from a player of such caliber from him.
What happens if he hits that smite?
Exactly. What happens if they do that? By the way, I don't blame him for that. As soon as both junglers are in the pit and things get chaotic, the Bard ult changing your timing, as a jungler, you sit there and you have a vague timing of when you want to smite. The Bard ult delays that by a couple of seconds, and suddenly you don't have that time to respond. Very difficult to defend that kind of smite. JJ is so excellent at that too. He is the Prince of Thieves. This guy is absolutely insane at stealing late game objectives. IG deserved this series victory. 2 wins on red side against Weibo. Definitely goes against the playoffs trend, and IG, they move on, and their hope stays alive.
It does, and I think like credit over to people like the Shy, right, for still hunting for value in a game where you are being permanently targeted is a massive, massive deal for the side of IG to have that Jace be so terrifying. Credit to GG, right, for still holding that kind of resolve, that grit to still be useful, to still hold on when the game was slipping away from them. And that's the thing with IG, right? Like, are they clean? No. Do they pull in different directions? All the time. But they are absolute warriors. The resolve to never give up, to say, yeah, nah, I'll win every time is ridiculous from pretty much every single one of their players. The clutch factor is off the charts in this team. Every single player, reminder, has won an international tournament, and that involves the kind of attitude and grit and resolve to make it through very challenging scenarios. So credit to them. They are deserved winners, and that puts us in a very interesting top 4, doesn't it?
It does. Of course, Rookie was top 4 back in last spring, so he's reached that mark again. Of course, he did that with NIP, and that was when I thought that he was the second best mid laner within the league, and I think he was incredible around that time. But yes, this is why we watch these kind of games. Weibo came from the upper bracket, but we know that the Ins are inconsistent. I think IG, the best thing for them is keeping themselves in the competition, right? Because this is a team with a higher upper ceiling. We know how good their players can be. There's always a question of, do they hit those highs at the same time? Folks, thank you so much for watching us here today over in the LPL. My name is Nymaera. I'm joined by Initialise, which I couldn't do without him. We are brothers, and we've done this for a number of years now at this point. The LPL needs your help. It needs your support. If you do have the bandwidth to drop a prime or something like that, or at least drop a like, a comment,
really does make a huge difference.
It makes a lot of difference to us, because the LPL needs your help now and never. No one is paying any broadcast now to go out to the world. The LPL is only funded by fan broadcasts and fan initiatives, which is, of course, we celebrate everyone who is putting their hand to that at some points. But it needs your help to pay off. So if you do have anything to give over, it makes an awful lot of difference. Support the LPL now, because in its direst state of need, never have.
The bat signal is thrown out. And LPL fans, if you enjoyed this stuff, please do share the word. Please do go like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of deal. I know it's a bit trite, but it does matter in terms of our ability to just keep doing this bluntly. In fact, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go clip that cool Baron steal. That was awesome. It was, wasn't it? Where was the steal? Let me go find it. I need to get the video up.
So, if you're watching on YouTube, the show will end here, and if you're on Twitch, we'll find someone to radio over with as well. As always, we appreciate you joining us and spending your time here with us today, watching the LPL. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Next time, we'll see you